Summon Sign is brought to you by you. If you want to learn how to support our show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia. Hello everyone, welcome to episode 59 of Summon Sign, Last Stand Media's weekly in-depth game discussion podcast. I'm your host, as always, Brad Ellison. Joining me, I have two lovely lads. First, we're going to start with my punching up co-host, Gene Park. Gene, how are you, dude?
Good. Just really tired, man. It's February review season, and I am exhausted. There are way too many games to play right now, and it's kind of not fun, actually. Honestly, it sucks. This is one of those weeks or months that reminds me that, you know, being a games journalist or whatever, or having to cover games media all the time, or the latest games, you know, it can really suck the fun out of the hobby, you know?
Yeah,
so as a critic, I really have to like try to like separate myself as to like, you know, will I have fun if I'm not like in this situation right now, basically, you know?
Yeah.
Or would I be having a good time?
Yeah.
So that's tough, but yeah, and none of the games I can talk about today, unfortunately. You know,
Yeah,
so
it's all right.
I've had to play two other games, and when you find out what the two games are, you probably think, "Oh, that's why Gene is so tired and stupid."
That's all right. We appreciate you being here, Gene. I understand, dude. I can totally relate. I remember the review seasons of gaming. I mean, obviously, we're just playing games, but still, it's a long time. It takes a long time to do stuff like that or get through them, if you're thorough, especially, and to get through the game. All right. Also, my Belgian brother, Lockmort. We're not brothers, but he's my homie.
What? Oh, okay. That's good. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. I can accept that. Can I insult me already? No.
Not yet.
Hello, Brad. Always nice to see you. Always wonderful to see you. We talk every day. We used to play Overwatch up until a couple of days ago, but we decided to finally take a break. So it's good to see you. It's good to see you finally, because we never really see each other. We talk.
I know, yeah,
every day, but we never really see each other. So it's good to see you. Good to see you too, Gene. I'm sorry you're tired. Doesn't sound like a lot of fun. So I'm glad I'm just a bum and not a games journalist. So I can still enjoy my games. But great to see you guys. Happy to be here.
Yeah, well, we can't play. Well, we could play Overwatch, but you got silenced because you're a naughty boy in our chats.
Well, let's not get into that
with other players. But yes, hey, welcome everybody. Before we get into the show, please check us out on patreon.com/laststandmedia. If you'd like to support us over there, you can leave us a nice rating on your podcast service of choice or YouTube, thumbs up, whatever's going on over there. We appreciate it. We want to help the show grow. Global saturation, as Albert Wesker would say. If you want some merch, you can get it at laststandmedia.store. We got some stickers over there, shirts, Summon Sign shirt, all that good stuff. All right, lads, let's just get right into it. Lads, that's like an English thing. No one really says that here. I don't know why I said that. Anyways, this is from Third Shift Weirdo. Hey there, summoners. This one is for the cat dads. Are your fur children in the habit of planting themselves in front of your monitor or TV when you're playing something? Are there any games in particular that give them the motivation to chase whatever is on the screen? I had a hell of a time getting through Astrobot last year with my feline son and had to lock him out of the room more than once. Love the show and be well, everyone. Yes, you guys are both cat owners, cat enjoyers. Gene, let's start with you. Jack
is fairly indifferent to games, actually.
Really? Okay.
He really likes Skyward Sword when the birds were flying around. That's really about it. And that was like years ago, too.
Yeah.
Since then, he hasn't really... he doesn't really go in front of the TV screen. You know, obviously you see him here whenever I work. Whenever I'm working, he'll plop himself in front of the screen. But when I'm playing games, you know, he largely leaves me alone. Like he'll sit on my chest, or sit on my lap, or want attention. But you know, he'll get it directly from me. He doesn't need to interrupt my game or anything for it.
Yeah, Well, he likes Zelda, so that's a good sign. Lockmore, Ellie. What's her behavior like?
But she's always like 1 foot away from me. Wherever I go, wherever I am, she's always right now. Like right now, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but she's right here next to me. Usually when I'm on a podcast, she literally sits next to me and just stares blank into the camera, like blinking, like help me or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But this time, right now, she's very quiet. But yeah, when I play games, she's sitting right in front of my monitor, actually looking at the games, looking what's happening on screen.
Wow.
I presume it's the colors or it's the mouse pointer or whatever. But yeah, she plays with me. Sometimes she dares to knock my screen over. Luckily, she learned not to do that anymore. But no, she's awesome. I love her so much. It's so cool to have like a little buddy next to you when you're playing games.
It is. Nice.
She's amazing.
Yeah, she's a nice little cat. Both of your cats are very, very, very cute. I like them both. And I like when you go, Ellie, Ellie. All right, guys, let's just get right into it. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Lockmore. It is here, your beloved. This is your Final Fantasy VII Rebirth moment. You've been waiting for this for years. Please gush to me about it.
It's finally here. Go play it. It's amazing. I know I was a fan of the first one. I talked about it before on this show. So everything I'm about to say, take it with a grain of salt. If you didn't like the first one, I don't think you're gonna like the second one. So everything what I'm about to say maybe doesn't apply to you, but everything what I'm saying applies to me and maybe people like me. This game so far, I'm 32 hours in, is exceeding every expectation I had for it. It's doing everything the first game did, but 1,000,000 times better. There's still sim elements, so you still have to eat, you still have to sleep, you still have to keep up with your equipment, have to repair stuff. But it's all so much better. It all works way better. There's still a little bit of Eurojank here and there, but way less than in the first game. Combat is still the same pretty much, but it's way easier. At least I think so. The first one had maybe a little bit too much jank into the combat. I liked it personally. I loved it. I thought it was a great system. But here they streamlined it just a little bit. Because in the first one, you had this star in the middle of the screen, and you still have that here. But in the first game, that star had one little extra tick. So there was one little extra move you could do, which isn't here. Maybe it's later in the game and I just haven't gotten there yet. But so far, that little tick isn't there yet for me. Which means that the combat, you have a little bit less moves, but the movement is way easier. It all feels way more fluid. Blocking, parrying, the Master Strike, it all feels way better, way more natural. The way enemies react to you, it all kind of flows together better this time. The weapon types, you have way more weapon types too, way more armor types too. You can save outfits this time. So if you wear an outfit that you really like, let's say you want to be a thief at night and you wear all black and like silent, an outfit that makes you more silent, you just save it as an outfit and then you won't sell it, and then you can save like your night outfit or your big armor for big battles as another outfit. It's really, all the elements in this game right now are very intuitive. But what mostly surprised me is the production value this time. Last time, Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 was a Kickstarter game, which is awesome. I love that a Kickstarter game can get this big and this huge and this well received. But the first one, you could actually feel that it was a Kickstarter game. This time around, it's not a Kickstarter game. And you can also feel that because it definitely has like AAA qualities this time. The cutscenes are amazing. They're fantastic. The voice acting is great. There's a lot of character development this time around too. Last time that was there as well, but more in the later parts of the game. But this time, the game basically starts off as a buddy cop movie almost.
Right, yeah.
You have Henry and Hans. With a very simple premise. The game starts off, you have Henry and Hans and their little entourage of friends who are delivering a letter to Sir Burghoff. And that's basically all you have to do for like the first 30 hours is find a way to get into the castle, deliver the letter. That's basically the first 30 hours of the game. Very simple. But after that, which is where I just got to, after 30 hours into the game, a couple of things happen. The whole thing breaks open and it becomes way more engaging, way more serious, which made me realize that those first 30 hours were basically a tutorial. Which is insane because the first game also had a pretty long tutorial. I want to say 4 to 5 hours. But this time, that whole first area is basically a tutorial for later on in the game. And they did it in such a way that even the tutorial is so engaging, man. The quests you can find, the variation in them, the characters that you meet along the way that also come back later, they're also engaging with you, with Henry as the player. They actually talk to him. They remember him when you do something, when you steal something. They remember you. Every little town you come across on the map has like this little smiley face or a frowny face or a neutral face, or your reputation also comes into play way more. It's amazing. I don't want to overhype it, of course, because again, if you didn't like Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, I really don't think you're going to like this one as well, but maybe you should try it. It's on PlayStation 5, runs great on there. On the people I know who have a Pro, they're all telling me how great it runs on there. I believe them, so that's awesome. But to me personally, again, it's completely subjective, but to me, I put this on par with The Witcher 3 for me. Mm-hmm. Which is a bold statement. It's maybe a lot of people won't agree with it, but I haven't had this much fun with the game since 2018, since Red Dead Redemption 2, where I was playing something and I thought, wow, I'm playing something monumental. This is great. This is greatness. I'm going to remember this for years to come, and I'm going to compare every single game I play like this to this game. That's why I feel really bad. That's why I'm really interested to see what Bethesda is going to do now, because they blew Bethesda out of the water with this game.
Yeah.
I love Skyrim. I love Oblivion. I hope the rumor is true and we get that Oblivion remake later this year. That would be amazing. Oblivion is one of my favorite games. But this game kind of does it way better. So I'm very curious to see what the future brings for the first-person Bethesda-style RPG genre now, because this game is the new standard, for me at least. I don't know if everyone agrees, but I'm completely in love with this game, man. I think it's so rare to get a gem like this in your hands, and it exceeds every expectation, and the reviews are great too. Everyone is on the same hype train. Everyone loves it. It's amazing. But what do you guys think?
Well, let's stick on this topic you're talking about with like Bethesda and everything like that. This is from Macabre. Hey boys, Warhorse Studios has created a masterpiece, and I'm completely hooked on KCD2 right now. The world is immersive and every quest is exciting. The sheer amount of content in this game, from NPCs, items, stats, and systems, I can't help but compare it to BGS. How do you think other developers are feeling towards this game, and what lessons can they learn? Can we agree that this is probably the best thing that has ever come from Europe?
Agreed.
Yeah, best thing from Europe.
Well, I don't know if you guys read this. Gene, you for sure saw this, but guess how much the game cost? Have you guys seen this?
To make? No.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see this.
40 million, which is nothing.
Wow.
Which is nothing.
So cheap.
But you know why it's cheap? Because it's made in Europe, and people just make less
Not
money.
Made in Southern California, yeah.
But look at what these people.
Fucking California, yeah, geez.
Yeah.
But look at what these people did. Look at what these passionate people created. It's insane, dude. I think it's the game. I think it has more dialogue lines than Baldur's Gate 3. Even they confirmed that not that long ago. But look how involved everyone is who worked on this game. You've got the director swatting everyone on Twitter who's opposing him, whether you like that or not. I personally think it's funny, but opinions are divided about that, I guess. But when you look at the actors in this game, they're all hyping it up. They're all on Twitter. They're all on YouTube promoting this game because they all loved working on it. They love the story. They love their engagement with it. The writers, even the programmers or the coders, everyone is so engaged with the game, and they love engaging with the community and seeing everyone's reactions. And I think, I think who was it that wrote in? What was his
Macabre.
name? Macabre. You're absolutely right. I think this is a masterpiece, and I'm so interested to see what happens now with these types of games, because we've got Avowed coming out next week.
Yeah.
Good luck to them. I mean,
for certain system levels, I think. Good luck.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't played Avowed, so I have no idea. But
me neither. I don't know. Yeah.
KCD2
I hope it's good.
I am playing Avowed right now, so I'm really interested to see how people will react to this.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, Locke, like, what my question is, like, what do you expect Avowed to do to keep up with Kingdom Come Deliverance, which is around the same time now? Because I sure as shit am not gonna fucking play Kingdom Come Deliverance before anything, right? But a lot of people are gonna be asking me questions. How does this compare to Kingdom Come Deliverance? I have no fucking idea, and I certainly don't have the fucking time. But you played it, so Yeah, how is this so different from like a Bethesda game? I guess
To me, it's
like how does it involve the formula? Right? Sorry, but yeah,
it's the writing. The writing in this game is so good, which wasn't something I expected it to be, because the writing in the first game was okay. It was pretty fun. You had good characters. The writing was serviceable. The story was very simple. It was very small. But here the story is huge, and it has a lot of side characters with their own personalities and their own character developments, which is something Obsidian usually excels in, right? So that's what I expect from Avowed. But Avowed now has to surpass this game in that department, in the writing department, which is something that's going to be tough, maybe. I don't know. I haven't played Avowed. I don't know. But this game is so unexpectedly good in the writing department that I think maybe it'll be tough, not just for Avowed, because now it sounds like I'm picking on Avowed. I'm very excited to play it. But for any Bethesda type game to surpass that here, because it's funny.
I mean, Starfield, right? Starfield,
Yeah.
I love Starfield, but Starfield's writing was, at the most, so.
Yeah. And it's also the sense of exploration I get here. In a lot of Bethesda games, or even in the Outer Worlds or something, you have the infamous loading screens, of course, right?
Right.
There's practically no loading screens here. There are a couple of them, but not that many. So the exploration is so organic. You just find stuff everywhere, find quests everywhere. There's no quest markers. You have a little compass on the top of your screen, but you have no huge quest markers or question marks above people or little icons everywhere. You're actually in the world. You're Henry. You're playing as Henry.
There's like some markers on the world where like in a town it says like there's like an exclamation mark and you can kind of learn maybe about a quest from there or something like that. But it's not like World of Warcraft or something like that where it's just like, hey, I have a quest right here. You still have to talk to people and kind of inquire about things.
Yeah. Yeah, you see it on the map, of course. When you open the map, everything is there, of course. But there's also no mini map. Something else I really like, because I don't really like mini maps in games like The Witcher or Red Dead Redemption. I always turn them off, and here I didn't have to, because you've got that tiny little compass which doesn't really intrude on the HUD. The HUD is another thing. All the HUD elements are so well done. In the last game, they were all pretty bland. They were all kind of white, but here all the fonts are like medieval. The colors they use are they really don't disturb the gameplay. Like they're all a little bit darker and the text is a little bit lighter, but it doesn't disturb you. So everything is easy on the eye to watch. The way the armor looks too, the way Henry, when he kills someone, is covered in blood and then you have to wash yourself. It all flows together so beautifully. It's clear to me that they started this game right after or maybe during the first game, because they just overhauled all the systems from the first one to this time and just improved all of them. I agree with that person. It's a masterpiece. And Gene, I'm very excited to see how it compares to Avowed. I'm so excited to play Avowed. I hope it's good too, but man, I don't know how they're going to surpass this one.
Yeah, I'm excited to play this. I didn't play it the first one. Would you say that I'm safe to skip the first one and just go to this one then?
Yeah, there's a couple of great recaps out there on YouTube that you can watch. Warhorse put out one of them. I made one. There's a couple of others out there on YouTube. They're all like 10, 15 minutes long, because the first game didn't have this expansive story. It was pretty simple.
No, that's what I heard too. Yeah.
So safe to skip that one.
Yeah, Gene, I'm playing two, and I haven't played one, and I don't really feel that lost or anything like that.
I have one more important question for me personally. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is a first-person only game. That's cool. When you look down, can you see your feet?
Yes, you can.
Cool. I'm getting the game. Perfect.
Yeah, you can
I hate it unless you're like Doom or something.
Yeah.
I hate it when you look down and you can't see your feet in first-person games. Doom obviously is fine because you're not even in person. You're a force of nature.
Right.
Your camera that rips things apart. But for real immersion, like a sim type game like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which I'm really excited to check out. Like I was really, really interested in part 1, and I just never got around to it. But I figured part 2 is coming out. It's just gonna be better in every single way. And my buddy Pat Stares is playing it, and like he's having a ton of fun too. I caught one where he was like sneaking into someone's house and just like smothering them with his hands and everything. I'm like, whoa, that's like a pretty deep level of like interaction for like a like a quote unquote Bethesda like RPG, kind of closer to Cyberpunk, if anything, in terms of like the body awareness that you have in terms of movement and everything.
There's a lot.
That's another great point, because there's also way more choices in this game. Even in the side quests, they always give you a couple of choices. Or it's not a spoiler. There's one side quest there's two side quests actually, where you have to find somebody who's missing. And I happened to find them by accident, because I was walking through the forest and I found this blood trail, and I was just following the blood trail, and then my dog suddenly heard someone, and we just found them that way. But apparently there's this whole side quest, and you have to interrogate people and then decide to kill them or not. So it is kind of like Cyberpunk also in that way, where you can circumvent the quests and do it your own way and find your own path. And it's you got me. I'm a little bit confused now. I'm not entirely sure if you can look down if you see your feet. I know you can see your bow and stuff, but it's so immersive that I'm not really sure if you can.
I haven't looked down really. I think you can though, but I haven't just stared at my feet yet. Yeah, but I know I've been turned my head, and I've seen like my shoulders and like a shield on my back and stuff like that. So
oh really?
Yeah,
that's fucking awesome. Like even if you can't see your feet, if you can see your shoulders, that's crazy.
Yeah,
really?
When I was riding my horse, and I like turned and I could see like his shoulder.
Oh, that's awesome.
Or your
I gotta check out this game. I can't wait till March is done. I can finally get to this game.
Yeah.
It sounds like the kind of game that I've been playing right now lately. But playing a lot of Avowed too, so it's going to be really interesting to have the reverse, basically, of check out Kingdom Come Deliverance after Avowed, and see how that compares, because I have no clue really, But I know that you can't turn your head and see your shoulders. That's for sure. That's cool.
I think,
but you can't see your feet in Avowed. I can't say anything about Avowed, but you can't see your feet when you look down. There's that.
It doesn't have a third person perspective, and I think Avowed does, right?
Avowed does, yes.
Yeah. Here.
And pro tip for people, I just found this out like 2 days ago. But if you just hold down R3 on your controller, you can switch between first and third person like immediately. There's a menu option, and I kept going into the menu to switch it, and I thought that was really annoying until I discovered that there's an IRL like in-game toggle, which is very, very nice and makes the game feel very cool. I love that.
Nice. Yeah. When is the embargo for that one? Is that Thursday?
This week, Thursday.
Okay.
Soon, yeah.
That'll be cool.
So I gotta start writing like right now.
Lockmort. So I'm playing now. I've played for 16 hours now, and I have not played the first game, and I am very impressed with this game from a systems level, particularly. There is so much going on here, like you're saying. I'm even just thinking about like how satisfying upgrading is in this game. And when you get like a new perk, it feels like a big deal right now. Like there's no difficulties right in the game. It's just one, I think so, which I really like stuff like that. I'm always a fan of that kind of stuff. And every single thing I'm getting, every upgrade, every piece of armor felt like a big deal and a huge thing to help me get through the game. Because it can be difficult. Like you can get in some fights. Sure. If you're not careful, you can get taken out real quick, which I appreciate though. But like now, dude, I am like a tank right now. I have such heavy armor, sword, shield. I'm like a juggernaut. I'm so heavy, dude. I need to like, get rid of some of my gear. I'm just too heavy right now. I can like barely pick anything up.
Well,
but, go ahead.
That's the beauty of games like this. I love it when a game does this, because the level system caters to how you play. So like you, if you're wearing heavy armor, your strength goes up and you can carry more stuff. Or if you're an archer and you shoot more with your bow, then that level goes up. So it caters to your play style, which is very awesome. Now, you said you were over encumbered a lot, right? Have you figured out that you can load stuff on your horse?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I do.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That horse, dude, is a workhorse. I got him carrying tons of stuff. I have him carry stuff, and I just try to sell it all the time like that.
Sure. Yeah, me too.
But you were talking about like the quests earlier and the choices you can make. One big tip I learned in this game is pay attention to the bottom right corner of the screen when you meet someone.
Yeah,
because it gives you often a chance to talk to them or something like that and bring up dialogue. And there's been scenarios like let's say someone was held hostage or something like that, and I got too close, and they just killed them, and I was like, oh. Yep. And I was like, oh, I could have talked to them. I was like, no, and just something like that, just missed out. So keep that in mind. That is definitely something you'll be doing when you're in the world, like you're saying. Like Locke, you can just stumble upon stuff, which is really cool. I've stumbled upon some stuff.
Yeah.
But some of it's like kind of hard to find. There's some like, there's one quest line that you get like extremely early where it's like a riddle, and you have to find these pieces of armor, which I really love. Like the first thing I just couldn't figure out. I was like, I don't know what the fuck this riddle is. I don't know how. I had to look it up. But the second, there's other parts of it, but you get these cool little like maps with drawings on them. And I was like, yes, I love this kind of stuff. I love these treasure hunts. And it was so fun. And just so many scenarios of just dumb shit accidentally happening in a town. Me accidentally walking around with my sword out. And everyone's like, whoa. Put that, yo. What are you doing? What are you doing? Going around at night without my torch out. Everyone thinks you're sketch and that you're trying to steal from them, which was the case. Yes, I was trying to steal them. I love it. I was trying to pickpocket someone and I just fucked up.
Oh no.
And he was like, what the fuck? And I was like, oh, I had to like run out of town. But it's so funny. There's perks you can get that are so specific like that. It's like, hey, when you get discovered in a town, your stats will go up or something like that so you can escape easier. And I was like, oh, I love all that kind of stuff. It really encourages you to play kind of how you want to play. So I'm very impressed with that so far. Combat is a learning curve, I would say. I mean, I guess the whole game has been a learning curve. I'm still learning stuff about the game. I still don't feel like I'm 100% there, but I'm mostly there. Like food, the food meter, dude, not a big deal. Henry needs to shut the hell up, though. He talks way too much about being hungry. He's like, let's say your hunger meter, you have 100%. And if he's at 95%, he's like, oh, I'm starving. It's like, Henry, relax, dude. You're totally fine. You're fine for like 12 hours. That's like a... What?
Did you get the perk that makes that like 30% less?
Oh, immediately. That was like one of the first things I got. Yeah, I was like, yeah, no way. No way am I not getting this. That's like a easy thing to get every time like that. But I found Locke. It's cool because you can like cook food if you want, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I just found honey, and honey is so good.
Oh, I haven't?
Honey is good. You haven't found honey? It's like in the first town, there's like the beehives. Mm-hmm. Dude, if you eat the honey, it like, I don't know if it goes bad. I don't think it does.
Oh.
And it gives you so much on your hunger meter.
Well, see, that's another thing that I had no idea.
Yeah. Gotta get the honey, man. It's OP. So food isn't really a big deal for me. Especially because depending on like early on in the game, like I decided to go to a blacksmith to help me do this main story quest kind of thing. And he gave me a home, like a rest spot, like a bed I can have, which is good because if you sleep somewhere you're not supposed to, someone's going to come in at night and you're going to get in trouble. And you can like, this happened to me. I tried to bribe them or I tried to do like a conversation thing, skill check. Didn't work. Got locked up for a little bit. It's really funny because then like everyone knows your sketch. It has like a meter. And you said, Locke, if you get in trouble again, they'll brand you or something like that.
They actually brand you in your neck. And I think it's for the rest of the game. That every time you get into it, they see your branding and they know you're a scumbag.
Yeah, that's so funny, dude. I love stuff like that. High consequences, high stakes, and it's cool. All that stuff's really good. Combat is pretty fun and engaging. Definitely a learning curve. Like stamina is so important in combat. It's everything, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I have a question, Locke. So if I'm wearing heavier armor, does my stamina?
Yes.
Do I lose more stamina when I do stuff? And
yes.
Like, okay.
You can see it in the stats of the armor how much energy I think it's called it takes to move and stuff. That's why if you're a thief and you wear black light clothes, they can hear you or they can see you. Pretty often. So armor and clothes make a very big part of like the immersion.
Yeah, I need to get some other outfits because I'm just walking around like a everywhere and trying to be sneaky, and it doesn't work that well.
No,
one cool thing in combat I noticed yesterday, Locke, because I was fighting someone who was like all decked out, and I was cutting him like on his side, and I could hear his chainmail when I was hitting it, and he like wasn't taking damage. I was like, oh.
Yep.
Then I did like a heavy attack. Then it started doing more damage. So like blunt force is definitely a thing in this game. Cause like if you're fighting like a normal thief in cloth, you can just kind of cut through him really fast. So go down. But if they're wearing heavy armor, you got to do like heavier strikes. And there's different weapon types that are more effective for that stuff. Like axe or hammer, they have like more blunt damage on them. So all that's really important to take in consideration. Not so much where it's like so far where I can't progress in the game like that, where I'm like, well, I just can't beat this because I don't have this kind of thing. But it definitely is something that helps you get through the game. And I love that kind of stuff.
It's also the heads, right? Like if they don't have a helmet on, go for the head.
Yeah,
like that's where they're weakest. Then, what you were saying about the little convincing mini game where you have like your stats, right? You have like nobility 9 or speech 10. What is really cool that this game does, it tells you right at the start, but a lot of people forget about it, is that it's not just about stats, but also who you're talking to.
Yeah.
So if you're talking to a bandit and you're threatening the bandit, that's not going to work. Like the bandit is going to threaten you back and just attack you. But if you talk to the bandit and you talk into his greed, that'll work because that's what a bandit's all about. If you talk to a woman and you treat her nicely, like nobility, she's more inclined to go with you or do whatever you want. So it's really cool that it also depends on the person you're talking to and not just on your stats. Which is why at the beginning I always screwed up because I thought I could be like this intimidating Henry, but it doesn't work that way. Like you have to appease the people you're talking to. Did you notice how creepy this game can get too? Like if you're wandering through the woods at night with a torch and you see something or you hear something, I've never had that in a game like this. I've had that in other games like Silent Hill, of course, or Resident Evil, but not in a Bethesda-like RPG like this, where it generally creeps me out at some points because it's so scary.
Because like at night, it's very dark. Very dark. Like if you don't have a torch, you're kind of out. I mean, torches are extremely easy to get, and they don't burn out as far as I'm aware. But
no,
extremely easy to get. But yeah, like you're in the woods, you got your torch out, and you hear like wolves howling and stuff like that. It's like because there's wolves in the game that'll attack you, so you got to be careful of all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
One thing I really like too, Locke, is there's fast travel in the game at certain points. Like certain towns you could fast travel to, or certain markers on the map, and your character like moves along the map, and you can see the time of day going, but there's chance you could run into stuff out there. Yeah. You can run into like someone getting attacked by thieves and you can choose to intervene or maybe try to get away and it has like a percentage chance of you getting away. You can run into some random like vagabonds or something like that. Like I've definitely run into just random dudes just chilling and camping and I'll have like an archery contest with them or something like that.
Oh yeah. I had that too. Yeah.
Or just someone's getting their ass kicked and I hop in to help them, all that good stuff. And sometimes it's funny because like you try to help them and they just get killed and you're like, oh, damn it. Yeah. You just got them killed. That kind of stuff's really funny to me in the game. It's super good.
Yeah. Go ahead.
One thing I love too, Locke, is how in depth the crafting system is in the sense like not where you need like a million items. There's a lot of items in the game to get if you want, but the actual act of crafting is super involved, like engaging. Like I really like blacksmithing in it.
Oh yeah.
Just for like, so when you blacksmith, you actually take the metal or whatever you're going to do, you put it in the forge, you heat it up and you see it like starting to get hot and you actually move it out of there and put it on the anvil and you start hammering it. And it's like, this isn't like a 10-second thing. No. This could take minutes and stuff like that. Like hammering it, it starts cooling off, then you got to put it back in, then start hammering it again. And like, you see you hit it on certain spots. You have like, you try to do a rhythm to make it, they talk about like whistling or something like that and kind of hitting to the rhythm of it and getting it sharper and all that kind of stuff. And when you get it, you make your weapon. It's very cool. He like puts it in the water, like
so cool. Yeah.
All that stuff. And the sharpening I like too on the wheel. Oh, it's like you could be on the wheel for a little bit, like sharpening, because you're actually like pushing the button to spin the wheel and you're moving your blade on it and like rotating the blade. And the more sparks is kind of like the indicator that you're doing well. In the alchemy, it's like super involved as well. You know, you put your herbs up, you have a recipe book you can look at, you get like the base of it, you put that in there, and then you heat it up, you boil it. It's like, it's extremely involved right now. So I think all that stuff's really cool and well done. I could see a lot of people not liking it. I think that's the thing with this game. It's extremely hardcore in that sense, and it doesn't compromise, which I like.
Yeah.
This kind of leads into something I want to talk about as well. Oh yeah, here we go. This is from Mike R. Hey, Summon Crew, this is a bonus. Keep it up, Locke. Your excellent sales pitch for the original KCD got me and many others to check it out. I finally finished it recently and I'm loving the sequel. All right, here we go. This is the actual question. How do you feel about the save system in the game? Even though I respect the overall intent towards realism, I have to agree with Maddie that the limited saves are a sticking point that is most frustrating than fun, or is more frustrating than fun. Thankfully, on PC, you can easily mod in normal saving, as I did for both games, or achieve the same thing with console command. How do you feel about the save system, and do you think normal saving should be at least an option out of the box? So the save system is interesting in this game because you can save by resting in like your bed, and you can save when you quit the game. Otherwise, there's some auto saves that account like some key moments. It'll auto save, but for most of the time, if you want to save, like let's say you're going to something like you might get in a combat encounter, you're worried about it. You have to drink a save schnapps, which you can make. Which I haven't really made. I've found most of them. I haven't had to save very often. Like luckily,
you can buy them too. Yeah,
but I wonder if I'm kind of torn on it. Like I like the idea of it a lot, but at the same time, I feel like it's still pretty easy to save, where it's not a super big deal. It's like slightly inconvenient. Slightly, it's like okay, I can just go back to my base real quick if I really want to. If I'm really paranoid.
Sure.
How do you feel about the save system, Locke?
Well, I talked to Maddie about this a lot because I know he was having a lot of problems with it at the start of the game when he was starting it. I completely get this for like reviewers or people with kids or people who don't have a lot of time or people who can get called away from their PC or their Xbox or PlayStation, wherever they're playing it on. I completely get that for those people. For someone like me, I love this save system because I can save scum. I have to live by the decisions I make. I have to actually be careful. It's not like Skyrim where I break into a place and the guard sees me and okay, F9, I'll just load back in. No, here if a guard sees me, oh shit, I gotta run. I gotta leg for it. Can't go back to that town for 2 weeks because they'll remember me. So everything is intentional in this game. Whenever I see bandits in the distance attacking someone or I'm close to them, I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't engage with them because I don't have a savior snap. And if I die, I'm going to lose 2 hours of progress here. So maybe I shouldn't do it. It gives more intent to the way you're playing, I guess.
Yeah.
It's also, like you said, I haven't had to use it this far because I had a couple of those savior schnaps. I think I used it once because I saw, like I just said, I saw bandits in the distance. I just did a huge quest. Didn't want to use progress there. But I think for someone like me or maybe someone like us, I like this system because it makes it more dangerous. It makes it a little bit more hardcore.
Yeah. I think the only thing about that is they kind of cop out in the sense of the save quit. Like it's a convenience thing, and I totally get that. It's like, I guess technically, Locke, like if you get in that scenario where there's bandits, you could save and quit, then just come back in, right?
You could, yeah.
And if you die, you'll just load back there. It's like, I feel like I wish they just kind of went further with it. So they didn't put it's a catch-22 because it is cool and I do like it, but I feel like if you're gonna go in, do you need to go in further with that system to make it feel more dangerous? Like the saving and quitting thing is a total convenience thing, and I understand that's probably the smart choice for most players. But at the same time that you could do that, it does take away some tension. Don't get me wrong, there's still tension because you're like, well, I don't want to lose, even if it's like 20 minutes, you're like, well, I don't want to do that again. So there is still some of that. I just wish it was a little more maybe committed in one way or another.
Well, hard mode is coming in the next couple of months. We don't know what it entails yet, but I presume they're going to take away the save and quit. It's funny because when the first game launched, it didn't have the save and quit option. They added that later because too many people complained.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I agree with you. They could go further with it or just allow you to save. I guess it's a good balance now. That's what they have.
Yeah, sure. It's kind of just in the middle. And it's not like a big deal where it stresses me out necessarily or anything like that. Like, I think the game trained me just to be more careful in that sense, where I'm just like, I have a feeling something might come up. I haven't saved in like an hour and a half. I'm going to go back to your house. And it doesn't take long to go back usually, or somewhere to save.
No. Yeah.
Because you can go to like inns too, right? Lock and save there. I haven't done that yet, but I think they give you like options. And of course, money's tight at the beginning, but there's some funny ways to make money in this game. Definitely. Stealing horses was the one you told me about.
Dude.
And selling them to people.
Every time I see like a lone rider, mostly I only kill humans because they were the bad guys in the first game. So every time I see like a lone human rider, I follow him, I kill him, I put his body in the field so nobody sees it. I take his horse, ride his horse to the nomads, sell his horse, bling, bling, bling. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a serial killer, but only in the game.
Yeah. And I do like, there's like weapons you could buy that are better than yours, but you need certain stats for them. You need like a certain amount of strength or a certain amount of agility kind of thing like that. So it kind of gates you from, I guess, really cheesing it. Like you can buy good stuff, of course, but I do like that. And you can get perks to kind of like lower the skill check for stuff like that, which is cool.
Yeah.
So that's all good. But yeah, I don't want to get into specifics of the quests, but there's some quests that are pretty involved in that. It's funny the amount of choices you can do and like the way you can find things like that. Or if you mess something up, it's like you may not be locked out. You may have a lot more trouble finding it, but you could still finish it. Yeah. Because that definitely happened to me. I was like, oh no, did I totally botch this quest? Did I screw this up? And I looked up online. And it's like, oh no, you could still do it if you found it there. It's like still possible to do it. So I really appreciated stuff like that.
Yesterday, I was talking in our Discord about this, and yesterday somebody asked me like, "Please don't spoil any quests." So I told him like, "Sure, I'm not. I won't say anything about any quests." And then somebody else told me like, "Well, progress past this certain quest and then see what happens." And that person, I thought like, "Yeah, sure, it'll get better. Every game gets better, but the further you get you get into it." But once I get past this quest, the game like just got exponentially better. It's crazy how they do it. I'm so excited to hear from you when you get there. It's crazy, man. What they do here. It's not
I've been doing so many side quests, so many. Like I can progress the story in some ways, but it's just like
just do them all first.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, what's that? I'm like, oh man, I'm getting distracted. But I'm just like, I'm having fun doing them, so I'm just gonna do them right now. Yeah, I'll stop doing them when I just need to move on. But yeah, it's been great so far. Also, the setting is beautiful. I love like this countryside you're at. It's so nice looking, so immersive. It's wonderful. It's delightful being in that world.
Isn't it cool? I think this is so cool. I made a video about it. I'll upload it tomorrow or the day after. Everywhere you go on that map, you always see the castle in the distance, like Trotsky Castle. You always see your objective in the distance. So no matter where you go on that map, you always see it, which is so cool. That reminded me of The Witcher 3, where you always kind of saw Novigrad in the distance, no matter where you were. So I think that's such cool level design. And you're right, like the forest, it's basically only one biome, maybe, if you want to call it that, but it has so much diversity. It has swamps, forests, rivers. It has basically everything. It's so pretty, man. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's like they managed to make a lot of the sections kind of feel distinct in their own way.
Yeah,
and like even though it is like, hey, this is still like a town by the stream, but they still managed to make it feel like its own.
Yeah.
This is from Beans has a granny fart fetish. Good lord. Is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 the most immersive RPG of all time? I spent 3 real-world hours blacksmithing horseshoes just because I could. Then I spent the rest of my day just playing dice with strangers and making a ton of money. Ate rotten food, then died. It was awesome. Thanks, and keep being a fantastic host, Brad. Shout out to Beans. I mean, this game is very immersive so far. I can't wait to get more into the game and just kind of see how things change, but there's a lot of systems that I think it could be overwhelming for a lot of people.
Sure.
But I think if you are cool with that and you take the time to learn and you're fine with learning like I've been, there's a lot of good stuff here and definitely a great game so far. And I definitely think about playing it more and I can't wait to play more later today. Any final thoughts, Locke, before we move on?
No, I would, if you're on the fence about this game, don't try the first game, just simply jump into the second game. Because the first game is way more of a hassle to get into. It's only 30 FPS on consoles too. If you have a PS5 Pro or even a normal PS5 or an Xbox, I would just go for it, man. There's a couple of people I know who got disappointed because they're not into this type of game. But if you're not into this type of game, I think you know already that you're not into this type of game, then don't buy it. But if you're into Bethesda games or Obsidian games or RPGs, man, this is, man, if you like The Witcher, if you like Red Dead 2, just I can almost guarantee you that you'll love this. Maybe not everyone, but a lot of people will.
It's less arcadey than I think of like The Witcher and stuff like that. Of course, The Witcher has tactical stuff, but it's more arcadey. I think about combat specifically.
Way more.
And the systems, but this is a very immersive, and if you like immersive elements in your games, you're going to have a really good time.
And if GTA doesn't release this year, it's going to win Game of the Year.
You heard it first. All right, good stuff. Yeah,
I also just saw that it works really well on the Steam Deck. Even
Part 2.
Yeah.
Part 1 was a famous Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 was a famous Steam Deck game. It's like on top with Elden Ring. It's like, yeah, you should totally get it. It sings on the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently it works pretty good. 30 FPS on the Steam Deck too. So yeah, nice. I think I'm serious. Once review season is over, this will be the first game I check out. I'm actually really eager to play a super mega immersive fantasy. Not even fantasy, just an RPG, right?
Yeah.
So the music sounds very Skyrim-y though.
The music's good in the game. Dude, it reminds me of.
I don't. Everyone says that the music in Skyrim is good. I agree, it's good. I'm just tired of hearing it all the time, like the same flavor of like harps and flutes and everything. That's exactly the same music as Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. It's exactly the same music as Avowed. It's the same fantasy style music of like.
Yeah.
It's good, but it's really the same kind of shit that we've been hearing for the last 15 years.
You can't like drop a trap beat or some shit in that game.
Well, it's not Assassin's Creed Shadows. Not every game can be as good as Assassin's Creed Shadows, really. So,
that's true,
yeah. I'm not saying, I don't know what other flavor there is, but like I wish that people will be a little bit more bold. Usually I just turn the music off in Avowed.
Sure.
Oh, damn, really? Okay.
It's immersive to not to, like. I think I'm going to turn the music off in Kingdom Come Deliverance too. I think that's actually going to annoy me. So like, if I really want to immerse myself and like live in this world, then I'm turning the music off. There's no drama. It's just all the drama is whatever the shit I'm doing. Yeah. So
one of my friends just did the same thing that you were talking about. He also turned off the music, and we were all like, "Are you crazy?" But then he showed us, like, "No, this is really great if you turn the music off." Mm-hmm. And you were absolutely right. It's amazing if you.
I actually do that for quite a lot of games. Actually, when I turn the music, I just turn the music completely off. Like I even do that for Spider-Man, because I'm just tired of hearing the fucking do Spider-Man theme like every time I punch someone. Like, okay, like I get that this is a superhero game, but I've been playing this game for 100 hours. Let me hear something else. It's obviously a problem of just hearing this music over and over again, as opposed to the quality of the music for sure. So
yeah, cool. Well, KCD2, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, great game. Can't wait to play more.
I'm excited. Everything. Fun. Yeah, and Locke has been talking about KCD for years now. Yeah. So it's about time that I check it out. So
they should hire you, Locke.
Yeah, man.
Like, PR.
I'm looking for work. If you listen to this,
hire Locke more. He's good. All right, Gene. Days Gone. You're all over the place. What you've been playing, man. Every time I talk to you, you're playing some weird ass shit, dude.
I'm playing Avowed and what else? The other two 100-hour games this month, and also Days Gone for some reason.
Yeah, Days Gone.
Yeah,
talk to me, dude. What's going on?
Well, I have always been meaning to check out Days Gone for years and years and years. Not since when it came out. I was not curious about the game at all when it came out. I was like, "Fuck this game. I don't care. I don't care about being an old ass guy again." Finding another bunch of zombies. Yeah, it's open world, but who gives a shit, right? And then the reviews came out. It was all buggy, and people were making fun of the story, and I was like, yeah, whatever, right? And then I would check it out like maybe a year later, and then I would be hit with like the worst hour of like an introduction to an open world game. You guys have played Days Gone, right?
Yeah.
Like the worst hour or two for an open world game where the game like really drip feeds its mechanics to you. Like, watch out and walk down this Gears of War highway tunnel and find out how lighting works and how to shoot a gun, and just do it really, really slowly while you and your fucking dumbass buddy Boozer just bitch at each other.
Boozer, dude.
Yeah, Boozer for
Booze Man. Yeah,
the Booze Man. With Deacon Saint Gone. Mr. Days Gone himself, Deacon Saint Gone, just bitching at each other the whole time, and then like the game like like takes your bike away. You know, this is not a spoiler. This all happens in the first 5 minutes, but like your bike is stolen and destroyed. And it's like, oh, you got to build your whole bike up again. And it just takes forever. And I was just like, I'm out. I don't want to fucking play this game right now. You know? And then I keep hearing about other people playing the game, and they're like, no, but like the game actually gets really, really interesting and good like 20 hours in, right? And of course, you know, a lot of people, me and myself included, for a long time, used to say, you know, if a game takes 10 or 20 hours to get good, that's a huge problem, you know. The often cited, you know, if a book takes like half the book to get good, that's not a good book, right? But then you think about it, it's like, well, if you take the whole thing into, after you beat it, once you take the whole thing into account, how do you feel about that then, right?
Right.
And clearly, when a lot of people have beaten Days Gone, they still feel really good about it. They were like, no, that was a really good experience. And then my really good friend Susie Hunter just played it over the holidays. That's all she was doing. She was just ignoring online, just ignoring like whatever game's out, and just like went into full goblin mode and played Days Gone. And she was like, yeah, it was a great game to just go into full goblin mode and just like not care about anything. So and as we'll talk about, for some reason also I'm playing Red Dead 2 at the same time. And I was like, you know, I'm super in the mood for a really, really slow burn, immersive, like open world game, which is why KCD2 is actually like making me pretty horny right now. Because it's like, yeah, I'm really, really in the, like I'm like balls deep in these games right now. KCD2 seems like the most like a really interesting one where like I am getting to the part in Days Gone. I'm still fairly early. I'm still like in the first, like, did you guys beat Days Gone?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm still like in the first area where I have to fucking deal with like Tucker and Copeland's
Tucker's camp.
Like, oh, fucking Cope, you gotta do this or whatever. Shut the fuck up with your Radio Free or Oregon or whatever. So I'm still dealing with those like people at the beginning. So I'm still really, really early on, but I am getting to the part where like I have to start worrying about my bike upgrades, you know, and I'm getting slightly better tires, and the feeling of actually having to walk around or drive around and thinking, okay, I can make it this far with the amount of gas that I have, like that actually gets kind of fun, right?
Yeah,
and then the immersion kind of got me. Where I was like, okay, well, I just cleared out this fucking quote unquote freaker camp. I hate the game that doesn't just call them zombies.
I hate they call them freakers.
Like,
I hate that,
you know, like how so far up your ass that you think that you can just create your own lore for this one, you know. Looking at you, Last of Us 2 as well. Whatever. But yeah, they're called freakers. It's cool. And you clear a freaker camp, and I got a tank of gas. But my bike was on a hill, and I was like, I can't get it on an angle right enough to fill up the gas. So I was like, all right, well, you know, I got like 5% left gas. So I was like, let me just wheel my bike over to a flat ground, and I got out the bike and I wheeled it, and I was like, wow, that was kind of like real life actually. You know, just like a little bit of annoyance. Like, oh, all right, well, you know, let me just wheel it over right here, and then we can get this fixed or whatever. And I was like, that was fun. That was cool. I liked like that little moment of like, oh yeah, I really got to care about my bike. I gotta bring it along with me and make sure that we're both comfortable, so I can fill her up, you know.
Right.
One thing I still don't like about Days Gone is the movement. Days Gone came out at a time right at the end where what I think Sony PlayStation first party games were really shitty about third person character movement. From Uncharted all the way up until Uncharted 4. Like Uncharted 1, 2, 3, Nathan Drake always felt really floaty and slidey and like really, really disconnected from the ground that he's supposed to be running on. You know, what else? Other games. You know, Infamous did that too. Ben Studio. Cole always really felt really just like not connected to the ground. He's always floating around, and like the running felt really slidey. Of course, Gabe from even in the PS1 days had a goofy ass run, and honestly, his run kind of reminds me of Deacon St. John's. So they're both kind of like, they're both kind of like squiggly and like they weren't diapers, the little diaper run. And Deacon, when he runs his regular run, like it just kind of feels slidey. Kratos runs like shit. In both games, I think. The God of War 2018 and Ragnarok, you're just kind of sliding around and moving a camera around. It really wasn't until Ellie in The Last of Us 2 where you really, really feel like you're a person that's stomping around the ground. Like like Ellie is like really like making tracks. And putting weight in there. They kind of fixed that with Joel in The Last of Us Part 1 remake for PS5, but Joel was sliding around too in the PS3 era too. So that's what Days Gone. It just doesn't feel like it to move around. That said, though, one thing I really like about Days Gone is, I mocked it for being, it's a zombie game, but it's open world, right? It is an open world zombie game, though. I'm actually walking into buildings and being like, oh shit, like it's really dark in here. Let me turn on a flashlight. Oh shit, I actually don't know what's going on here. Oh, each area that I'm going into is not like a prefabricated building. Each building is unique. And I actually have to worry about like what I'm going to find here and who like what dangers might be here, and then it started to click. Oh shit, this game is just like Mad Max. The really great game that came out at the same time as Metal Gear Solid: The Phantom Pain, where when you walk around Mad Max, where you have to drive around Mad Max, but you have a really special relationship with your car, and that you have to build your car up, but you also have to fill it up with gas. So you're doing the same thing here in Days Gone. But then the cool thing about Mad Max is that every time you went into like a bandit camp or like a secret like lair or whatever like that, each one was always uniquely designed. And I'm finding that in Days Gone, where it's like, oh, this is not like a Ubisoft, checklist type of game. It just has different locations, and different shit is going on, and then different resources are here. So it's like, oh, I'm really starting to understand and peel back the layers of Days Gone, and really understand why this game is really engaging, and why it really pushes people towards finishing this open world. Because it's like, I'm really, really like into this world. Like I am actually getting myself into the role of Deacon St. John and wondering, okay, like now I need to consider like where I'm at in the world, what time it is, what time it is right now, whether I should be heading back to camp or whatever. The story is still neither here nor there. I'm not really interested in it. I certainly don't give a shit about Boozer at all. And as far as I know, I think Boozer becomes like a way less important character towards the end of the game, which is so funny. It's like, oh my god, dude! Like it feels like he's gonna be the last boss of the game or some shit at this point. Like Ultra Boozer. Like we gotta fight Giga Boozer by the end of the game.
Yeah,
because his arm gets so fucked up because he becomes Tetsuo or some shit.
Yeah.
But apparently he becomes like a later non-factor. I don't think that's a spoiler because I have no idea what the fuck happens to Boozer, or even in the second half of this game actually. So that's one merciful thing, that I can't spoil this game at all, because I have no idea what's going on, and I kind of don't care, because I'm actually just really enjoying the simulation part of it. And the thing is that I actually don't like biker culture, like as a pop art culture. Like I like bikers. I know a lot of bikers, and they're cool. They're obviously very cool people. But as like a pop culture thing to that interact with in a video game, like I'll watch like biker movies and I watch biker TV shows. But as a biker video game, I'm not really that interested in it. My least favorite GTA 4 DLC was the Lost Angels or whatever.
Lost in the Dam, yeah.
Lost in the Dam, yeah. About the biker gang, and when whatever. But it's just it just wasn't that interesting. And so I'm still not that interested in Deacon St. John as a character, but I am like starting to appreciate like his love for his bike and his relationship with his bike, and in that way, I'm like really starting to role play in that role. But Days Gone. Finally glad to be checking it out. Probably won't be finishing it this month. I was definitely kind of playing it for the podcast, but also because I'm interested in the game as well, and I've been interested in it. And yeah, it has been a good. I've actually been playing it in between all the other games I've been playing. Just clearing out a camp or two, or just doing one thing or the other.
Sure.
And I've been playing the PC version, so I've been playing on Steam Deck.
Okay, yeah,
another game that runs really well, really well on Steam Deck. Really sings 45 frames per second. Looks as good as a PS4 version. Just runs better. And yeah, it's a good Steam Deck game. It's a good game to just kind of chill back and clear out a camp or do one side quest. And just move on with my day. But
nice.
Have you run into any hordes yet?
No, not yet. Not really.
Okay, that's like the coolest part of that whole game.
Yeah, I know. That's not. It's kind of like Xenoblade Chronicles X, where the coolest part of the game is having the mech, and the mech you don't get the mech until like 30, 35 hours in. Like that seems to be what happening with Days Gone, where like the horde mechanic is really like shut off towards the end, which is so annoying. Like. Why isn't it the first thing you do in the game? As opposed to like dealing with boozers lame ass,
Days Gone's a long game, pretty long.
Yeah,
a little too long in my opinion, but still good game. I'm happy.
It feels like the beginning is too long. Like I don't need Copeland and Tucker's camp to help me like build the world. And the world isn't like that interesting where I'm just like, oh man, these people are really, really struggling. Oh yeah, they need food though. Yeah. No fucking shit they need food. I don't need a whole sob story about why these people need food. They're in a post-apocalypse. I'm going to assume that food is an issue. Food is an issue now, in real life. So yeah, it takes a little too long, and I definitely agree with every criticism that the first few hours need work. It's definitely the Final Fantasy 13 of sad 40-year-old man games.
Yeah,
Final Fantasy 13. I'm sorry, Final Fantasy 13. Yeah,
takes like 20 plus hours to get to the the real good shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Lockmort, any thoughts about Days Gone?
Yeah, I played Days Gone in March or April of 2020 because that's when COVID started.
Yeah, good COVID game. Yeah.
When COVID started, I sold my PlayStation 4 after I played God of War 2018 because I figured, well, it's not going to get any better than this. I'll just stick to PC until the next generation. But then when COVID hit, I got a PS4 with Days Gone, and I think Death Stranding. Those were the two games I got. Maybe Death Stranding was a little bit later. I don't remember. But at least I got Days Gone back then. So that was the first game I played on there. And I really liked it. I think it's kind of a joke in the LSM Discord because a couple of years ago, I was always hyping it up like, yeah, this is my favorite Sony exclusive. It's not, of course, but I really liked Days Gone. I understand that I really liked it because I played it as a special time and as a Ubisoft type game, even though it's not, but like a game like that for the first time in a long time. So maybe it did a little bit different for me. But I always love, what's the actor's name? Sam Witwer?
Sam Witwer,
yeah.
I love him in every game. He was also a star killer in... what's that called again? The Star Wars games?
Force Unleashed.
Yeah, those two games were always awesome. He was in Battlestar Galactica. I love that guy. He streams too on Twitch. Great guy, great actor, great streamer. And I thought he did a really great job in his role too. Gene's right though. The story is kind of stupid, but I like that it's kind of stupid. It's not The Last of Us. It's not that serious, but maybe that's a good thing. Like we need games like that. I'm very sad they never got to make a sequel or
I know.
Maybe we'll get one now anyway, because what else are they going to do?
Now that I'm talking about it, yeah, no shit. What else are they going to do though? Yeah, their fucking project just got canceled. No shit.
Yeah,
Days Gone sold a lot too.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't. I'm surprised that they didn't consider Days Gone a live service. So that makes a lot more fucking sense than God of War.
Yeah,
that's for damn sure.
Yeah,
I don't know what they're thinking.
And I love Left 4 Dead 2. That's my favorite multiplayer game of all time. I have like over 2K hours in that game. Yeah. So when I saw the hordes in Days Gone, I was like, this is the first game that does it right. And it still is the first game or the only game since Left 4 Dead 2 that does hordes right. No, that's not true. Zombie Z World.
War Z or
That's
whatever.
War Z did it pretty good.
Yeah, that they did a good as well.
Yeah.
But the hordes in this game were so cool, and that's the thing they showed off, right? Like when they marketed this game, they showed off the hordes. But Gene, like you said, if you play the game, there are no hordes until you're like right near the end. So it's kind of weird. But the hordes were amazing. I love that aspect of this game.
You're so right to point out Left 4 Dead 2 because that was the thing that most excited me about this game when I saw the trailers and back then I was like, oh shit, single player Left 4 Dead. I've been waiting for this my whole life, because obviously I played Left 4 Dead 2 a lot with my friends back in the day. This is back when the golden era of multiplayer for people at our age, anyways, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I still played a shit ton of Left 4 Dead 2 single player, just with the bots and everything.
Oh, nice.
And you can just turn them up or turn them down, and that was always fun,
Yeah.
But yeah, just playing as one guy against a horde, that'll be fun. And then you get bullet time. You get a slow motion bullet time mechanic, which is always fun. I always love that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it gets better as it goes on, Gene. I just think the game just goes on too long, just a little too long. Where I'm like, wrap this up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But despite how many qualms I have with that, I still think Days Gone is very fun and absolutely worth playing if you're cool with that. It is a fun open world game, man. Like riding around on your bike and running over zombies later on it's good shit, man. It's really fun.
Yeah, well, you know what? I gotta say, riding around the bike is pretty fun. Like I was like, man, you only get one bike as a vehicle, and I was like, no, but like I get it though. Like that relationship again, relationship with the bike is strong, and also it feels good. It feels good to roll around in that thing and just take turns. Like if it feels really nice and weighty.
Yeah,
and you hit jumps and ramps. It just goes ka-dunk in a really satisfying way. So the movement on foot is kind of janky, and I've always never liked that about a lot of PlayStation games. But the vehicle movement is definitely one of the best, at least in terms of being a biker.
Yeah. This is from Jeremy Tan. Hey, Summoners. There's been a huge turnaround of opinions on Days Gone since its buggy release on PS4, particularly in recent years. Was the poor/mixed reception initially warranted? How much of a role should performance and bugs factor into game reviews when most of these scores and opinions end up staying on the internet long past their relevance? Keep on keeping on, gents. Jeremy. So, games get reviewed. Not in the best state, probably when they get reviewed. That exists. Should people rescore things or anything like that? What do you guys think?
I think rescoring makes sense. I personally, as a reviewer, try not to, unless the bugginess really, really affects progress or just clarity of what the game is even doing. A bug here or there, I'm just not going to mention that much because again, to the point, I'm more speaking to the longevity of the actual. I'm speaking to the soul of the game. Mm-hmm. And as long as the bugs don't hurt the soul of the game, whatever that could mean, then I don't care. But there's a lot of sites that should be. If the product is, it's still a product, and if a product is buggy or unworking, then you should mention that. And obviously, I'm glad that there's other reviewers that do that. Obviously, Digital Foundry first and foremost, but also other content creators and people talking about it too. But that's why I always say people always get on my case about. Because I always say Cyberpunk was always good, right? And they were like, no, Cyberpunk was bad. Didn't you play the buggy release? I was like, no, I played it on PC, baby. It was just fine on PC, Yeah. So I never had a bad experience with Cyberpunk, period. It's your fault for playing on PS4. What the hell? It is. You think you're gonna play a game like that on PS4? Come on.
Yeah, ultimately.
I mean, I played it on PC and I had bugs in that game where I had to reload and stuff broke, but that's just the way it is. Sometimes you play a game and you review and you don't run into problems that other people do. So
so that's the thing. It's not a universal issue. If my movie theater showing the substance or whatever ended up being on fire, I can't give the movie a 0-star review because the projector went on fire.
That's true. But they did releases on, and Sony took it off the store, right? So there were some very serious issues that
console,
shouldn't have been there.
Yeah,
console,
for sure.
There shouldn't have. I mean, it was really. I didn't play it on there, but what people said was just abysmal.
Yeah, I did play it on PS4. Actually, I played it. I played Cyberpunk 1.0 unpatched completely.
Oh, damn!
Raw off the disc, baby.
Ew.
I tried that out on the PS4. There is like no cars on the road. There are like no NPCs in Night City on a raw version of PS4. It's amazing.
That's funny. That's really funny.
Do you remember like the controversy surrounding the reviews for Days Gone? Because there were 2 reviews, IGN and GameSpot.
Yeah, I remember one of them said like, what was it, along the lines of it like being sexist or misogynistic or something like that.
One of them thought it was another white male protagonist. I think that was GameSpot, so they gave it a 5. And IGN, I think, was very opposed to the way they treat Sam's wife or girlfriend in the game.
I think it was IGN. I think you got it right. I think IGN was like, it's another.
He slaps her butt.
Oh, yeah, but you're right, though. Yeah, that there was definitely the wife, slapping her on the ass.
Slapping his wife's butt. Good Lord. God forbid.
I do that.
They're bikers. I mean, what the fuck?
And it's his wife.
Yeah, it's his own wife. Like they're gonna have sex later for sure.
Yeah,
Relax,
guys. Jesus.
Yeah. But like another white male protagonist thing, I get because it's like I mean, because like I'm not interested in Deacon St. Gone as a person or as a man or as a character. Sure. I'm interested in the day-to-day in the days gone that I'm living with him.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it a compelling experience. But the overall character arc, I'm not really interested in.
Think about this. Everyone complained about another white man game. Then we got Concord. I hope you guys are happy with what you've done. You pieces of shit. All right.
Well said.
This is from Adam. Let's see. Hey, summies with cummies in their tummies. Good Lord. I am insane to think. Am I insane to think that Days Gone has the best video game facial animations of all time? I'm talking about the animation, not the fidelity and being able to see every little pore. I was amazed at just how much emotion was conveyed through the animation.
Okay, you know what? Yeah.
Characters like O'Brien, who had masks on, still said so much without their body movements. I feel like Days Gone would be right up there with the greats if it had more interesting art direction. The game gets so much right and really surprised me when I was playing it when I played it last year. Keep up the great work, crew. Right.
Yeah, I thought this guy was crazy, but now hearing you read it out loud, I'm like, oh yeah, he's actually talking about the actual like expressions that they're making. I get it. It actually kind of reminds me of LA Noire, actually. When I'm talking to that old lady Tucker, and she's like yelling about like people not working or whatever.
Yeah.
God damn, keep working. We gotta keep working. And I'm just like, holy shit, man! This chick looks fucking real. Actually, her face. Like I can't read like the frustration in her face and. In terms of people not working or whatever like that. I'm just like, wow, it kind of reminds me of LA Noire a little bit. So cool. Sometimes the animations are a little too weird. Like, like Sam when Deacon St. Gone will just give like a little smirk or whatever like that. I'm like, ew, dude, don't fucking look at me that way. Dude. Your lips were a little too pursed right there. It makes you a little uncomfortable. But yeah, I totally get it. It is good enough to the point where I get a little uncomfortable. But yeah.
Yeah. Man, shout out Days Gone. Fun game, dude.
Yeah.
Check it out, everybody. PS4. They did a PS5 patch for it, I believe, where they updated the frame rate. So that's cool at least too. And PC version, of course. Yeah, I looked at the sales, dude. Sold 7.32 million units by February 2022. So a while ago. So pretty good.
Pretty good, and I'm sure there are a lot. Yeah, it's kind of like a cult hit of Sony first party.
Yeah, I would say so. It's like the cult classic hit.
Yeah,
first party, right, Gene?
Yeah. So I'm excited to get through it. I'm really excited to get through like the next like biomes or whatever where the rest of the map will open up because I've seen pictures of that and it looks really nice. And yeah, I'm looking forward to upgrading my bike and seeing what the final bike looks like.
Yeah.
Because that was the cool thing about Mad Max is that like your car can look like any kind of thing, and it was really cool.
That is cool. Yeah. Upgrading the bike was a lot of fun. You're right. I loved working on it.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Yeah, repairing it too. Like, I really feel like it's something. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like how in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, like the Housers wanted you to fill up the tank in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and people are like, "You're fucking crazy." People hate that. And it's like, no, I think actually people might think that's kind of cool. I wouldn't be super mad if GTA 6 required you to fill up tanks every once in a while, especially for your own car.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like in Kingdom Come Deliverance too. Like you gotta fuel up.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Yeah, all these games are kind of like have a relation to each other. It's cool.
Yeah.
All right, boys, it's time for Sort It Out. On this segment, we're just talking about something that needs sorting in the game industry, something we're not pleased with. Game, company, human, whatever. As personal as you want to get. Lockmore, is there anything for you that needs sorting out this week?
I mean, how can it not be Sony and PlayStation? I mean, that's for every single one of us, I guess. Like, what happened on Friday? That was really weird. And on a Friday night, or it lasted pretty long too, like 24
like 20
hours.
20 hours? Yeah, something like that. PSN was down.
Yeah, and it's really weird that I guess they gave some kind of explanation there, but it was kind of vague and not really coherent. So, I mean, sorted out Sony, I guess. I mean, that it's so weird that can still happen in this day and age. And especially, I guess that it's possible that it happens. But for so long, I mean, people were already thinking back to 2011, or was it 2011 when it last happened?
I mean, I think that was like months.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that was ridiculous back then. So when we reached that 12-hour mark and people woke up and it still wasn't fixed, what really was strange to me was that a lot of my friends couldn't play their digital games. I tested it. I could play them.
Did they might have like 2 PS5s or something like that?
Yeah, and they didn't make their new PS5, their PS5 Pro, their primary console, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's probably it.
That shouldn't happen, of course. That's something that should never happen. You should always be able to play.
Well, it's because you're sharing your account with someone else. So for like instance, So like me and my girlfriend have it, so she can play my games that I buy on my account. So it's like they get access to your library essentially like that. So you have to be online for that.
But does that also mean that if your internet goes out, you can't play?
Some of those games, yeah.
Your girlfriend would not be able to.
No, she no. Well, whoever is the main PS5 is set as that can play still.
Can play. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's the non-main PS5. So assuming that Brad's girlfriend doesn't have the main PS5, then she wouldn't be able to play things.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
PSN Portal, the PlayStation Portal couldn't work.
Yeah, it wouldn't work. Yeah, and like a lot of games are online required. Kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, because a lot of my friends weren't able to play Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 because they got the licensing message. Like, you don't have the right license to play this game, which is very important because it's a Friday night. People get off work. They want to play during their weekend, of course. And you can't play the big new game.
Yeah,
that's really unfortunate. Of course, I nobody at Sony did this on purpose, of course. It's probably outside forces that caused this. But it's scary that something like this can still happen.
Yeah, I was lucky, and I was like, I'm playing on Steam right now. I'm good.
Yep, same.
I don't really play multiplayer on PlayStation. I always play on PC, even with most of that stuff, so it doesn't really affect me, but it is still a total drag.
Yeah.
'Cause a lot of people were affected by it. So, yeah. Gene, what about you? Anything this week?
Yeah, I guess just Sony too, but at least on the communication front. It was weird to be out for that long and just not be communicating. Like, yeah, we understand. Sorry, we just need a bit more time at least. Like, you don't have to fucking tell us everything, but at least tell people, hey, we're working on it. Sorry, Yeah.
I think that's fair.
It was weird to see zero tweets and zero communication for what was a weekend. It was a weekend. Come on, guys.
Yeah. It's gamer time, guys. Come on.
Yeah, it's like it's like being a bar and not being open for the weekend. Like, you should have a sign up and says, okay, why are you closed on the weekend?
Yeah, totally.
My weed store, they're closed, right? They have a notice up that's saying, hey, we're renovating, hold tight, we barely got that, as opposed to just saying, yeah, we know that it's down, check back, and then it was like 24 hours later. It's like, okay, yeah. We need just a little bit more notice, just like maybe not like a tweet every hour, but like maybe like a tweet like every like 12 hours, like maybe even like one more or two more tweets, honestly, would have helped,
Yeah. True.
Lockmort, let me get this straight. You said the director of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is swatting people?
No, not swatting. It's swatting them like flies, not swatting them.
I was like, you said I thought it was funny. I was like, well, you might think it's funny, yeah. If it's like the swatting I'm thinking of, someone could die.
yeah. He does seem a little too salty about like some of the lower scores of the reviews, and it's like, dude, no one even fucking reads those websites, dude. You don't have to give a shit what fucking IGN Italy gives a shit about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
In his defense, because I saw a lot of people say like, oh, this guy is so petty. In his defense, he has been doing this for 20 years. And for 20 years, he's been calling out, like, people are not going to like this probably, but he was very involved with Gamergate, for instance. Mm-hmm. He hates games journalists and what they stand for. Sorry, Gene, not you, of course, but like other ones. So he has always been calling out bad practices, let's call it that, from either side. So this time, the other side is like opposed to him. Like the anti-woke crowd is really up in arms because Henry can have gay relations in the game. I mean, it is what it is. So this time he's fighting them, and also the game journalist that gave him a bad score. I think Eurogamer or something gave Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 a 5 out of 10. They were the ones that led the crusade against him last time and called his game racist and stuff. So he, of course, he calls them out now because those two sides they're like water and ice.
I get it. He's got a chip on his shoulder. I get it.
Exactly. Yeah. So a lot of people call him petty, and I get that. If you don't know the guy, it really comes off as petty and like, what are you doing? But he's been doing this for so long that I get where he's coming. I get why he's doing it. I get where he's coming from. And most importantly, he's doing it to both sides. It's not just the people who don't like his game. It's also the people who say like, oh, there's a huge dip on Steam. It's flopping. And then he shows them, idiot, people were asleep. Like
totally. Yeah. He's been real aggressive about the messaging, which has been interesting to see.
Yeah, but it's not a good thing to do, of course, as a game director. I love the guy. I think that guy is one of the underrated game geniuses of our time. He made Mafia. Incredible writer, incredible director. I think he's amazing.
Very talented guy, yeah.
Yeah, but I also wish that he would be quiet on Twitter now and not get people too angry. But I love him. He's amazing. I love that guy.
Honestly, as time goes by, I'm actually like, maybe John Garvin was right. maybe he should have been bitching more about Astrobot or Days Gone or whatever like that. Like it's Days Gone propaganda, but it's like, he was like Ben Studio was wasting all his time like for the last few years, and it's like maybe he was mad about that. Who knows? I kind of want to interview him now a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
Try.
Maybe I'll actually get something productive out of my Days Gone gameplay activity, and actually do a Days Gone post-mortem with him.
Yeah. Don't you feel bad? I feel really bad for him now because it turns out the messaging he used was wrong, but the message was right. Obviously, like what he was saying turned out to be true. So I feel really bad.
He's belligerent for sure.
Yeah.
He's like a drunk guy that can't control over his emotions. Yeah. But I have a deeper understanding of where he comes from now, at least.
Yeah.
As opposed to Kanye, I have no idea what the fuck is going on. Kanye, so.
Yeah, that's a whole different story.
Oh man, that's what I was saying. I was like, Sony should have been tweeting like Kanye during the outage.
Maybe not exactly like Kanye.
Every 5 minutes, and also anti-Semitically.
I agree with you guys about just my sort out would be for PlayStation. I mean, it's not the end of the world. 20 hours or so.
It wasn't that long. Yeah, honestly,
people that want to play. And there's not like a lot of shit I can think of at the top of my head that was really bad this week. So we'll just give it to them. This is from Kenji Lily. Hey, Summoner, sorted out the PlayStation Worst downtime since 2011 outage, 20 hours. And double the amount of time of the last one that occurred back in October, 8 hours. Not to mention, no comment at all, even as I write this. What's going on? Well, there you go. This is from Izzy Smalls. Hey, Summoners, I have a sorted out for internet crybabies. Specifically, these frauds who cry about games they never supported in the first place. Yeah. Let me explain. In a recent interview, it was revealed that Sony passed on a fourth Resistance. It was widely reported, and all the comments were about how dumb Sony is for making the decision. Resistance 3 sold like dog shit. Where were all the Resistance fans then? Same thing for all the alleged Japan studio fans whose games sold like crap. The moral of the story is support the games that you want sequels to instead of being outraged about them later on Twitter. Thanks and love the show. Hey man, I bought Puppeteer, right? I bought Gravity Rush 1 and 2. Leave me alone. I didn't buy Tokyo Jungle though. All right, this is from MK. Hey Summoners, sorted out to Sports Interactive and Sega, who canceled the latest edition of the long-running annual Football Manager Soccer Sim 4 months after initially delaying the game while still opting to accept pre-orders. This has had a negative impact on the numerous content creators who rely on the latest release to deliver content to their audience. Peace and love, MK. Yeah, I'd heard about this game being canceled. I don't know anything about these games, but I was surprised. Like, oh, Football Manager getting canceled.
And they were still taking pre-orders even though they canceled it?
I guess 4 months after initially delaying the game. So I'm sure when they announced they're canceling it, they weren't, but they were probably taking them for a long time when they knew it wasn't going to work. But that's crazy. I wonder if it'll be back next year. I assume so. I don't really know the reasons why it was canceled, but that is interesting.
Yeah. All
right, boys. Keep it up time. The exact opposite. Stuff we're happy with in games. Yay. We like video games. Lockmort.
Well, this is a very easy one. Warhorse Studios for me. They sold 1 million copies in 24 hours. They hit a peak on Steam this weekend of 250K. They obliterated all records of the first game. Like I mentioned before, it only cost 40 million, so they're already making a profit.
Yeah.
What they did here was exceptional. Everyone involved with this game, my hat off to you. Amazing. Fantastic. What an example. Just like Larian was 2 years ago. What an example for the industry, I think. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
A Western studio that didn't let you down.
Well, that would
be I've seen it happen too many times to Lockmort. Now the West has risen for him. Finally.
We're back. Yeah.
And they even were convenient enough to throw in a One Piece reference in the game. So even better.
Have to taint it. Can't just let me be happy.
Yeah, that's why I keep it up. Well done, Warhorse, as well. I'm having a really good time playing this game. It's super fun. I can't wait to dive in more and see what it offers because I feel like it's a very deep game. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to playing more. Gene, what about you, man? Anything you're pleased with this week?
I don't know. Not really. Yeah.
All right. That's fun. Sometimes you're not really that enthusiastic about something. It's also
keep it up, Gene, then for working so hard and reviewing all those games. That's tough.
Thanks. Yeah. I mean, I complain about myself and I'm jealous of IGN or GameSpot or even smaller sites like Push Square or whatever that have a staff to play games. But then I think about guys like Maddie, or content creators
grinding
like Maddie
it out.
or Skill Up or guys. I mean, Skill Up has his fucking brother or cousin or whoever the fuck that guy is to help play the game. Austin. Shout out to Austin. He's cool. Awesome. But I mean, Maddie just has himself,
and he does
people
everything
only care about his opinion on games, so he has to try it all too, so we're kind of in the same boat. So February, shout out to there you go, shout out to people in February, keep it up to people in February, reviewers in February, because we're going through it right now for sure.
This is a month I'm happy I don't review games anymore.
I used to. Because I mean, let's be real. There's Pirate Yakuza, there's Avowed, there's Assassin's Creed Shadow next month, Xenoblade Chronicles X, which I can't ignore. Come on,
Monster
and
Hunter,
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and last but not least, Monster Hunter Wilds.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Can't wait, dude. So stoked.
Yeah, I will say, at Avowed, I think Avowed is just a lot bigger than I think people might expect.
Sure.
So.
Oh, that's nice. That's good.
Yeah.
I want to play Avowed. I don't think I'll get to it till at least a month though, or something like that. Because I'm not going to play it right after KCD2. There's no way.
I feel like that'd be awful.
Yeah.
I might even give it some time before KCD. But I'm really excited to fucking play KCD2 though. Actually, like I'm actually super pumped.
What do you know why they did this? Because they delayed it. KCD was first to delay it, I think, to February. Or no, maybe Avowed was first. Either of those two was first. But then the other one decided, we're going to do that too, which was a big mistake, whoever it was, because Avowed is now the victim of it, I guess. But if Avowed releases in 4 months or 4 months ago when it was supposed to release, it would have probably done way better than it's going to do right now.
Maybe. It just depends on the state of the game at the time.
Okay, so the delay happened 6 months ago at August. It was announced in August. Okay. And then the Avowed delay February 18th. It was delayed. Hold on a second. August as well. Oh my God. So Avowed got delayed first, and then a week later, or a week or two later, a week and a half later, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 said they're going to be delayed also around this time. So KCD was clearly not worried about Avowed, basically.
No, I haven't seen many people talk about this yet. But what Warhorse Studios did was basically what Larian did with Starfield. Like, because normally KCD was supposed to release this week, the same week as like the Avowed pre-review or whatever it's called. But they were so confident in their game that they did the same thing Larian did and just moved it up a week. Mm-hmm. Like they said, okay, well, we'll go we'll go first and then screw you, which is what they did, which is very smart marketing, I guess, if you're confident in your game.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good move. All right. This is from Jeff. Hey, guys. I've got a simple keep it up this week to video games. They're such a great escape, and while we like to bitch and complain a lot about the little things, they really are amazing and brings about so much joy and happiness for me. I recently received a very serious medical diagnosis, one I'm planning to beat no matter how hard, but games are my best escape. I have too many I need to get to and play, not to win. All the best, Jeff. Yeah. Shout out video games. Shout out, Jeff.
Yeah,
you got this, dude. You got it, man.
You got it, Jeff.
All right. This is from Tyler Stafford. Hey, fellas. A huge keep it up to Warhorse Studios. I remember being excited for KCD1 and initially disliking it due to poor frame rate and bugs on the PS4 version. I played it for an hour and was out. Fast forward to KCD2, and I'm completely gripped by the world, systems, characters, etc. What a triumph in the RPG genre. Cheers to Warhorse.
You guys are making me so fucking horny for this game, man.
Yeah, Gene's having a hard time.
I'm struggling, man. I don't want to play fucking Avowed or Pirate Yakuza. I want to play KCD2. All these games are great. Monster Hunter Wilds. I don't want to play that right now. I want to play KCD2 right now. Fuck, this game sounds great. Jesus.
All Warhorse has to do is clip this out and put it on Twitter.
Yeah,
perfect marketing.
Yeah, like I'm really in the mood for some KCD2 right now. Actually, like I'm fucking playing Days Gone and Red Dead 2. These are the games. Like these slow ass games are the ones I actually want to play.
Yeah,
not Pirate Yakuza, which has everything I could want in a video game, but I'm not in the mood for that right now.
All right, this is from Meager Death. Hey boys. Just have a keep it up to indie games. I truly believe indie developers have more of an ear to the ground on what people want in games, and they more often know what makes games special in the first place, namely the innovation. Nowadays, we see a lot of bloat and, of course, the live service elements in AAA space. I think that's a major restraint, though I think there's a major restraint, and a lot of the time makes said titles less of an art form and more like an endless stream of digital brain rot. Peace. Yeah, well, indie games, there's definitely the most experimentation in there, for sure.
Yeah.
AAA space, right now, there's some, but they're so goddamn expensive to make. they have to be careful with a lot of it. So, but yeah, shout out to indie games. Love them. Good stuff. All right, Lockmore, Drova. Talk to me, dude.
Have either of you ever heard of this game?
I watched your video on it.
Oh, thank you. Well, that's very nice.
So I have an idea of what it is.
Okay, but
no
Gene,
idea. No idea.
Okay, Gene, have you ever heard of Gothic? A game from when we were way younger. Gothic was basically a European or a German equivalent to the Elder Scrolls. You had Morrowind at the time, and you had Gothic, and Gothic was like a third person.
Oh yeah, I've seen Gothic. Yes,
it's like a third person.
Yes, totally.
Third person hardcore RPG, very difficult, notoriously difficult, no hand holding. You had to figure everything out. Great games. Gothic 1 and 2, fantastic games. Morrowind, you both know, of course. Morrowind, Bethesda's height maybe at that point. Maybe Oblivion was a little bit higher, but Morrowind was fantastic. Same thing. Very hardcore, very difficult. You could go anywhere, do anything, align with anyone. Great game. Last year in October, there was this cute little indie game made by Just 2D Interactive, a new studio, a studio that's compiled out of 6 German people. And they figured, well, every game that releases these days is so streamlined and holds you by the hand and tells you exactly where to go. We want to go back to those days of Gothic and Morrowind. So what they did was they made Drova. And Drova is an isometric pixel art RPG. Now, that doesn't sound appealing to me. Like when I heard that, an isometric pixel art RPG, I thought like, okay, well, sounds pretty cool, but not for me, not right now. It released in October, and not a whole lot of people played it. It only has 5K reviews on Steam. 5,000 people is not a lot of sales. Maybe it sold a little bit more. It was also on console. I checked it. I didn't see it really up in the stats there. But what really appealed it to me was that it had an overwhelmingly positive rating on Steam, which is something not many games get. A lot of games get very positive or positive, but overwhelmingly positive means that 95% of the people who played it absolutely loved it. So this game released in October, and I tried it out, I think about a month ago. Yeah, I started on January 1st. And I was honestly blown away by what they created here. It's a 6-man team, so it's not a big team. But they basically made an isometric Gothic game here, or an isometric Bethesda game here. There's no hand-holding. There's no mini-maps. There's no yellow paints. It doesn't tell you what to do or where to go. The premise is very simple. You play a druid or somebody living in a druid village. Your village is starving. One day, the warriors go out in the forest. They find this crystal. They come back. Other people take the crystal back into the forest. You follow them. Boof, you get transported to the magical country of Drova. And that's basically the whole premise. Go do what you want to do. Drova is basically an area divided into 2 camps. One camp wants to leave the magical kingdom, I want to call it. It's not a kingdom, but the magical country of Drova. And the other part of the map wants to stay there. 2 parts, pick which one you want to join. Do you want to leave Drova? Do you want to stay in Drova? There's a shit ton of side quests everywhere, just like in any other Bethesda game. You can align yourself with woodcutters. You can align yourself with slavers. At one point in the game, I veered off the beaten path. I talked to this girl at a tavern, and the girl asked me if I wanted to go home with her. I was like, oh yeah, this is cool. Why not? So I did. And then they kidnapped me, and I woke up underground, and now I was a slave working in the mines. And it's so weird to see this. I've never seen this before in a pixel art RPG like this, because it looks great. It has, well, I don't want to call it a cutesy art style, because it's not cute. It's really innovative and really well made. But I've never experienced it like this, in a way like this, where you it's not really like Baldur's Gate, because it's not really isometric. It's more like a maybe not top down. It's hard to explain. It has a fairly unique look, I think. Maybe like, it looks kind of like Vampire Survivors. Maybe that's the best description. It doesn't play like Vampire Survivors, not at all, but it kind of looks like it. The art style, I mean, more gothic, more monotone colors. The animations are way more involved, of course, but it looks really great. But what really surprised me about Drova are the choices and the consequences. Everywhere you go, you meet new people and you spiderweb into new quests, and that spiderwebs into other quests. And there are 5 acts, and I accidentally skipped an act because I went into a cave I wasn't supposed to go in yet, and then found something I wasn't supposed to find, and that circumvented an entire storyline. And it's all connected. It all works. There's no bugs. It's really strange that this game didn't get more popular than it did. Now, I have a theory why that is, because it's extremely hard. It's extremely difficult. The combat is awesome. But when you start the game, you die a million times. Go off the beaten path, meet the first monster you see, and it just beats you into a pulp. That's how hard it is. The leveling system works just the same as in Gothic. You level up by experience. So if you kill monsters, you get experience. Solve quests, you get experience. But you can't pick your points automatically. You have to go into town, find a teacher who wants to teach you into wielding axes or wielding swords, and then that's how you level it up. So it's not as easy as in other games. But what they did here is so special because, first of all, it's a team of 6 people. Not that should count. But what they did here was basically create a AAA game in a smaller environment. And it just simply works. It works really well. So I was very surprised. Also at the length of this game. I started it in January because I wanted to make a video on it. And I didn't finish it until, I want to say 3 weeks later. And I poured like 40 to 50 hours into it until I was done. So it's a pretty long game too. The art style, while a bit monotone and a bit simple, is very immersive. They convey emotions through text. The dialogue is to the point. It's not verbose. It's not like in other RPGs where you get lore dumps every now and then. Everything is to the point, but you can really convey emotions in these characters and these simple animations. So I think they did a great job here. It's definitely not for everyone because I think it's very hard and it's hard to get into. And if you're not used to this art style, maybe it's a little bit jarring. But I think what they created here is incredible. We did our Game of the Year thing last year in December, and had I played it before that, it would have been in my top 3 last year. It would have been my number 3. That's how good it was. But yeah, it's on PlayStation, it's on Xbox, it's on Switch, it's on Steam, it's on GOG. Who cares about Epic? But if you can get it on any of those stores, it's only $25 too. It's not even a full price game. These guys are amazing. Just 2D is what they're called. What they made here, wow, very impressed.
Yeah, sounds like if you like all that kind of RPG mechanics that Locke enjoys, and which are great at choice, exploration, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
right up your alley. Yeah, just a more simplistic art style, I suppose.
Yeah,
in perspective, but yeah, it looks cool. But
yeah, I am sold on this game on 1,000%. Locke, you have a really good knack of finding like really good RPGs.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I'm looking at pictures of this game and I'm like, damn, why haven't I heard about this even? That sucks.
Yeah.
I'm playing Avowed, and I'm thinking, man, I kind of wish I played the Pillars of Eternity games. To really understand the world and lore, and to deepen my relationship with the Avowed story and the world.
Sure.
But those are isometric RPGs, and I'm like, man, and I was like looking at that, I was like, man, that would be a really nice thing to play right now too.
Mm-hmm.
And Drova looks awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in a real deep RPG mood actually too. So yeah, all like this whole podcast episode has been cool. Has been pretty fun.
Yeah, it looks cool. Just can't get to it because of KCD2. Sorry.
Well, that's what I was about to say. I think mechanics wise, it has a lot in common with KCD. Like there's also a day and night cycle and stuff. NPCs have their own. Go their own way, have their own day and night cycle too. So they go to work during the day, sleep during the night. So it's very, very immersive that way. And I think you're right, Brad. Of course, KCD2 takes preference right now. But I think maybe in a couple of months or maybe in a year when there's not that many RPGs, take a look at this one. It's really special. I think both of you will like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure I would enjoy it. It looks good.
An isometric modern RPG for sure. I wish Baldur's or Larian or Obsidian still made those too.
Yeah,
Obsidian's very prolific, so maybe they still could.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know you can't talk about this about Avowed, but are you confused sometimes? Is that
no,
something
not really.
you can
Actually,
okay.
I could talk about I could probably talk like I finally watching the previews, the preview coverage. So I've been like watching like Manny's preview coverage and everything. Yeah. So I feel like I can probably talk about things that are kind of apparent or whatever like that. But there is a good glossary system. It's kind of like Final Fantasy's active lore time or whatever, the Final Fantasy 16. During the conversations, if there's a word that confuses me, I can just literally pull up a glossary, just press X and pull up like a glossary. I can see the whole dialogue history, and also certain words are highlighted that like it's like fucking Wikipedia, where I can like look up certain words and look at that. But even without that, I haven't even been using it that much, because the way that the information is being presented is pretty straightforward. Okay. But I did watch a Mortismal Gaming, shout out to Mortismal Gaming on YouTube, a lore dump on what happened in Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2. And that has I was confused in terms of like what the morality is or what the nature of the world is. Have you played Pillars of Eternity?
Yeah. Yes, I'm making a video about 2 right now. That's
awesome. Yeah. So the nature of like the of godliness and everything like that. Yes. I won't go too deep into it, but like the nature of the gods and everything. That was stuff that was new to me, that the game doesn't really quite explain. And then so once I understood that, I was like, oh, that actually like really like strengthened my relationship with the story and like what gods are or what certain religions are. And I've been making my choices now that I've been informed with that. But being as a newbie, I feel like it would just be, it's a little weird because like your character in Avowed, and I can talk about all this, but your character in Avowed is not like a amnesiac. Oh my god, like this isn't an isekai where you're learning about the world like as you're like walking around. Right. Your character should already know what the fuck's going on around, and the history of the world, and that's what I needed to role play as,
Sure.
So, cool. I definitely think that it would benefit people if you want to role play as not an isekai type character, which you aren't. Avowed does have a written character. It's closer to Geralt and unfortunately Dragon Age in that regard, as opposed to Skyrim, where Skyrim is you're a blank slate prisoner, whatever, right? This is not that game. So
gotcha.
Okay. Cool.
Let's see here. This is from T.Dot's Finest 82. Hey, Summoners, this one is for Locke. I watched your video on Drova and decided to grab the game. I haven't started yet, but I will shortly. Any tips? I don't generally play games like this. I play games that hold your hand more than Drova. Any help is appreciated. Side note, I've watched and enjoyed all your videos so far. I hope you keep making them. Thanks for your work.
Oh, that's super kind.
Very nice.
Thank you so much. There's a new video every week. If you want to, one of them goes up tomorrow or the day after.
Every week?
So far, every week, yes.
Yeah, okay. This is a new Lockmort.
We'll see when it all falls apart. But so far every week. Unless there's a bigger one. I really want to make
it just depends how big the game is, probably.
Exactly. But yeah, any tips? Yeah, the biggest tip I can give you is don't read anything else. Don't watch anything else. Just get into it. But be prepared to die and make mistakes, because I didn't know what I was getting into. And that was the one thing that frustrated me at the beginning until I realized, oh, that's the point. It's a game of trial and error. Like, you go off the beaten path, you die. You go to the left, you die. You go to the right, you die. You die a lot. But that's the point of it. You have to learn where the monsters are, and you can't beat them yet. First, you have to get weapons and stuff. So it's a game about learning the mechanics first and foremost. Also, I didn't know anything about the story, and that really helped me to immerse myself into it. So don't look up anything else. Just know there's 2 sides. That's all you got to know. And other than that, take your time with it too. When I started it, I thought I was going to be done in like 12 hours. It seems like a small game. But when it wasn't, I was pleasantly surprised, and I wish I knew that beforehand so I could lay out the time more. Because now I had to open up 20, 30 hours in my schedule that month to play it. So be prepared to sink some time into it. That's what I would say. But let me know what you think of it. I'm so excited to hear what you think.
Let Locke know what you think of this, your thoughts on KCD2. He loves hearing about all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah.
Look, I think that's just good advice in general to give for a lot of games like this. What you said is like what I say to people about like From Software games, like Souls games and stuff like that, Elden Ring.
Sure.
Go in, failure's totally okay. It's fine. It's part of the game. Just learn from it. You'll have a great time. Go in blind as much as you can with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to die. It's totally cool. Don't be afraid of mistakes, people. It's fine. Not everything needs to be a perfect run.
Yeah.
In fact, it makes it more interesting to me when you have blemishes like that. It makes it more memorable to me. We're just like, well, memorable. I fucked that up. You'll never forget that. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, Gene. Red Dead Redemption 2. A crazy long game you're playing.
As I mentioned on Punching Up last week, I am actually not replaying Red Dead Redemption 2. I am not that psychotic. I haven't gotten off the deep end. Of course, I'm not replaying Days Gone. I'm actually playing it for the first time. So that's one long-ass game that I'm actually struggling through right now. But Red Dead 2, I am not replaying that game. I would be out of my mind if I was starting from Chapter 1 in the snow. That's actually, so Red Dead 2 gets a lot of flack for having a really slow first hour or whatever. After playing Days Gone, Red Dead 2's first hour is not that bad, actually. When you think about it, you get like 4 or 5 missions, like tutorializing in the snow, and it's really slow and kind of annoying. But like the story moves pretty fast, and it gets you pretty quickly into the meat of, okay, now you're doing side quests, now you're doing the camp thing. And now you're really starting to get along with your Dutch game and everything like that,
Let me cut you off real quick. This is from Bloviated Rendering. Sup, mooks? This one is for Gene. But no doubt the whole squad can chime in. Tons of people complain about the Act 1 of Red Dead 2. It's too slow, but I disagree. I think the slow pacing builds tension and a sense of place better than any other game I could think of, while also centering the tone firmly in spaghetti westerns rather than real history. How do you come down on Act 1's pacing? Hater or celebrator? Love what y'all do, and can't thank Ellis enough for bringing much needed high quality entertainment to my cubicle life.
Oh, great write in. Thank you for interrupting. Perfect segue into what I'm talking about. Hater or celebrator? I used to be a hater. I used to hate the opening of Red Dead 2. I used to think it was very slow. I don't like snow levels. I'm not a big fan of snow areas.
Okay.
God of War Ragnarok was going to be a huge problem for me if it was all Ragnarok. Thankfully, it was not. So I'm not a huge fan of just all snow levels. So starting Red Dead 2 off, a beautiful, beautiful game in the snow, was kind of disappointing. And it felt long because back then when I played it in 2018, I was so eager to get into the game. Just let me do cowboy shit right away, So it felt really annoying, and you're walking through the snow, and walking through the snow is really slow. That's another reason why I hate snow levels, because you if you're trying to be a realistic snow game, then you're gonna walk so slow because the snow really is like knee deep or higher, Thankfully, God of War doesn't do that, but Assassin's Creed 3 did that, and that was so annoying when you're just trudging through the snow. And that's exactly what you do at the beginning of Red Dead 2. I think that sucks. But that said, like I said, it really doesn't take that long. It really isn't that long. In the grand scheme of how long the game is, it's a good. You're right that it's a good introduction. It's an excellent introduction to the characters. The way the story itself and the writing itself swoops around the different characters, introducing you to like the women in the camp, to the way Dutch is saying, the way Dutch is being warm and protective of his family, but also the hint of authoritarianism that will reveal itself later on. And this isn't a spoiler. We all know Dutch is a shithead. Yeah. If you haven't played Red Dead Redemption 1, that might be a spoiler, right?
It's not a spoiler.
But the Dutch's kind of authoritarian tendencies later are kind of peeking through already. You see his relationship with Micah and how that can be testy. You see the way different characters are actually planning different things. This is a little bit after the chapter 1, but in chapter 2, Javier Escuela is a character from Red Dead 1. And if you know Red Dead 1, he was a little crazy there. And in Red Dead 2, he plans a heist, and what's interesting is that the heist is not very well planned at all. And it kind of speaks again to his character. So you really getting to understand the little quirks of your team here through these the different side quests, and that begins in chapter 1 with Bill. You going around with Bill Williamson, and you having to rescue John Marston. And John Marston's introduction is kind of a fuck up and kind of someone who needs looking after, or someone who needs to getting taken care of. That was interesting too. Yeah. And again, the game really throws you pretty quickly into chapter 2. Yeah. What I have been playing is 2 different saves uploaded from PC. They're both available on Nexus Mods, so you can go check them out. But there's one save game that's post game 100%. And so I've been enjoying that because I already beat the game like ages ago, back in 2018. I don't need to, I don't feel like I need to play the game to enjoy it again and to enjoy the rewards of it. But I do have a second save if I do want to replay the game, and I kind of do want to. I am psychopathic enough to want to replay Red Dead 2 again because the story is good. The story is actually kind of one of the best stories ever written for video games, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think the writing. I think the game overall might be slightly overrated. But I think the writing is not overrated, actually. I think the writing is actually one of the best writings in games. And it starts in chapter 1. And I would like to re-experience again, but I have a save in chapter 2 that basically has 53% of the game done in chapter 2. Because you can actually complete more than half of the game right at the start of chapter 2. Because chapter 2 really, really opens up. And you can basically walk around most of the world. You can go around finishing all of the hunting challenges, which is actually the hardest challenges in the game. Once you know how to set up your varmint rifle, making sure that you have the right kind of bullets and guns that don't tear apart the skin of the animals, which is so fun. I completely forgot about that aspect of hunting. Trying to hunt 3-star animals and 4-star animals, whatever, and making sure being real delicate about the animals, and the parts that you're trying to bring back to the traders for more satchels and more talismans and everything like that. And these satchels and talismans will give you upgrades for the rest of the game. So in chapter 2, Arthur just has the best satchel in the game, which is the Legend of the East satchel. That helps you carry 99 of every item. Basically, wow. It's an ultimate satchel, so you can just keep feeding your horse carrots all day, and that'll be sick. 53% of the game done. All of the outfits bought, all the guns bought, everything upgraded, every skill upgraded, from fishing to hunting. That's a perfect and it's right before any significant life-changing story events in chapter 2 happen. If you get my drift, I'm not going to talk about any spoilers, but there are certain missions in chapter 2 that will really kick the story going, and those missions are not done because it's kind of like trapping Arthur and the team and the camp in this foreverness of status quo where everything is just fine, and we're gonna make it through, everyone. Everything is just fine. So it's definitely the happy Arthur save, and then there's the post game, which is whatever post game is about. But that's fun, and that has everything unlocked from outfits to guns to the entire map, and that's fun because it's actually been fun walking around and experiencing all the incidental storylines that can happen, the emergent NPC storylines that could just happen. I talked about it on Punching Up, and I haven't really played the game since then. But I walked into this bar in Saint Denis, which is the city area of Red Dead Redemption 2, and it's one of there's only 2 bars in the city, but it's a dinkier bar without the bedroom. And I walked in, and then all of a sudden, this woman started hitting on me, and I was like, "Oh, this is new, an NPC interaction I've never seen." And she was like, inviting me to have sex with her. She was a prostitute, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that I can just like have sex with prostitutes in Red Dead 2. Like, have I not known about this mechanic this whole time?" And I followed her to the back, and I just ended up getting jumped by 4 guys.
Yeah.
And then I had to turn on my Deadeye and then just shoot them all in the head. And I was like, well, that happened. And I was like, holy shit, shit like that is so much fun. Where like I'm just walking around and someone's like, oh, help me, and I figure out what their deal is,
Mm-hmm.
Really, really interesting game, and it's kind of like a game that I think you can play forever in the post game, and I think a lot of people do. I totally get why people call Red Dead 2 their favorite game of all time. I thought it was kind of cringe that Red Dead 2 was voted the #1 PS4 game of all time in Sacred Symbols Live, right? I was like, that's super cringe because Red Dead 2 is not even a PS4 exclusive,
Right.
But yeah, when you take in the totality of the library, then yeah, I can see why people love Red Dead 2 so much. It's not my favorite game of all time, but I am enjoying now that I'm not being rushed through the story, I am enjoying how immersive it feels. After a shootout, after I killed those 4 guys, I was like, oh, well, that happened. And I walked here to the bodies and slowly checked them for money.
Yeah.
And bullets and getting the bullets back that I wasted on them. And then I walked along and just enjoyed my day. And it's a nice Western day simulator. Go take a bath. Go hang out with your wife for a bit or whatever, or your girlfriend or your friends.
Yeah.
Get a haircut, trim your beard. Go hunting for a little bit. One of my favorite things about Red Dead 2 is the NPC interactions. And this is an evolution of the Grand Theft Auto San Andreas NPC interactions where you can walk around a CJ, and if you press left or right on the D-pad, CJ will have like either a friendly interaction with an NPC or an aggressive interaction with an NPC, like, hey, fuck you, or whatever like that, And they evolved that for Red Dead 2, where if you can press L2 to target a certain NPC, and then a group of buttons will show up, and you can greet or antagonize them, or depending on the NPC's mood, you can further antagonize them, or like you can defuse the situation, even, and that's always so much fun. And I think that speaks to how our interactions with daily NPCs are, like when I talk to somebody, when I talk to like the maintenance guy here in my building, I'm not like, oh, hey, how's it going? Have you heard any rumors about the building? Like that's a Bethesda type of interaction, or Obsidian type of interaction where it's like, well, what can you tell me about the stairs down the hall or something like that? That's not, it's closer to Shenmue, if anything, in terms of like this weird interaction versus, hey, how's it going? Hey, how are you? Good day, and then we walk along. That's how a lot of NPC interactions are actually like. So that's what I really love about Red Dead 2 is like, no, they actually like properly give NPC interactions the proper weight and importance they deserve. It's very incidental, very passers-by, but it can be antagonized into fucking some kind of bullshit. Who knows? Especially nowadays, or you can diffuse it, or you can just say hello to somebody and just move along with your day and mosey along. But little things like that really, really make me feel really immersed in this world. And it's shit like that like makes me get in the mood for KCD2, actually. Because it's like, just a slow burn where I'm just really inhabiting this person in this time period, and in this world.
Right. Is there anything this time around, Gene, you're kind of appreciating more about the game?
Yeah, I think it was NPC interactions. Yeah, I never really put it to account. Again, the intro again, what I was really appreciating, but I remember when I first played Red Dead 2, I'm also appreciating how beautiful it looks, right?
Yeah.
How this game is 2018, it runs better on the Steam Deck than it does on the PS4, at least in its native resolution of 800p. And I remember when I played Red Dead 2, I was actually going on a trip to the Grand Canyon with my family right afterwards, back in 2018. And I was really, really rushing to beat the game before I went on that trip, because I didn't want to go on a trip and not find out what happens to Arthur or John or Dutch or whatever.
Right.
So I finished the game, and then I flew off to the Grand Canyon. And I looked at the Grand Canyon, and I was like, that doesn't really look as good as Red Dead 2, though, does it? graphics wise,
Yeah.
and then when you think about it, like this is where like I come in. And this is a little bit insane, but I was like, I'm not as impressed with the Grand Canyon because nobody made it. A human didn't make the Grand Canyon. It was just there.
Yeah.
Nature, the beauty of nature is incredible, right?
Yeah.
But people made the canyons and hills and mountains in Red Dead 2, and they made it look that pretty. So like I can look at Red Dead 2 and be like, wow, I can really appreciate someone else's work on this. Whereas like I look at the Grand Canyon and I'm like, it's God's work, I guess, but I can't really congratulate God,
It's so funny, dude.
It's a little weird, right? It's one of the weirdest thoughts I've had in years.
Yeah.
But it was definitely one of the weirdest things I felt like after playing Red Dead 2. And I was like, yeah, it doesn't look as good as Red Dead 2 though. As opposed to like, oh my god, the graphics outside real life are amazing, But like it got to the point where I was like, I don't know about this the graphics in real life right now. Actually,
That's funny, dude.
Yeah, did you really crunch? How much work did you really put into this?
How much did you crunch? Yeah.
Yeah. What else? I didn't. One thing I didn't realize is that there are different levels of horses. I didn't really appreciate the different levels of horses because I'm trying to find new things to play around with, especially in post game where I'm like, okay, what else can I do in post game where everything is done, right? And I was like, oh, I actually don't have. Whoever started the save file kind of has shitty horses. So so that's actually been my mission in Red Dead 2, is going around and trying to like you can have 4 horses on your stable to collect, kind of like your GTA garage. You can have six cars, or if you had that mega apartment in GTA 5, you can have like a whole like floor of cars, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in Red Dead 2, you can only have four horses, and I want to make sure that my post game guy has all the best horses that and all the different kinds of horses. They're different sizes. The American Standard Bred is like one of the bigger ones, I think. I'm not sure. I'm already forgetting, but I want the different horses, different colors. I want one that looks like Epona. I want one that's all black. I want one that's like dark chestnut and looks like a regular ass like Budweiser horse. And another one that's like a little donkey.
Yeah. Cool. Lockmort. Mm-hmm. Any Red Dead thoughts you want to get out there? I know you love this game as well.
It's my second favorite game of all time. Might be maybe even my favorite game.
What's your first game?
Baldur's Gate 2 will, I think, nice. Forever be
sure.
my favorite game of all time. But Red Dead 2 comes really, really close.
That's cool.
The characters in this game, I've never felt more connected to characters in any game than in Red Dead 2. It's the only game that's ever made me cry at the end, let's say. I think the character development in this game is so special. Like you talked about before, Gene, like that opening act in the snow, and you have like the red letters. That's like the opening credits, basically, with the woman singing, and then you find Sadie in like the cabin with the bandits, and you take them out, and then Sadie develops.
Sadie has a goated character arc for sure. Yeah, Sadie is one of the best character arcs. Probably the best character arc in a Rockstar game for sure.
Yeah. It's insane. This game, there are so many moments in this game that are ingrained in my memory that are like my favorite gaming moments of all time. Like when you walk or ride first and then walk up to the mansion at night to save the kid. I won't spoil it.
Brathwaite's or whatever like that. Yeah. That's an iconic scene.
Yeah,
I don't understand people saying, "Oh, I can't finish that mission any way I want to." I was like, "Why the fuck would you want to finish a mission any other way?"
Yeah.
Other than rolling up with your fucking gang.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's better than a lot of movies, and especially better than a lot of games. It's so immersive too in the things you do. But what mostly kept me engaged in Red Dead 2, because I've hundreds of hours into this game, is there's so many secrets. I think it's the best map that any developer has ever developed. There's so many secrets. Like you can find that time traveler guy or the vampire side quest, or there's so many immersive little details. When you walk around in the swamp and you suddenly hear people whistling or whistling, and then you get taken out, or you get hit in the head and brought to that fucking weird sibling couple that kind of rape you and then dump your body into the swamp, and you come back to them, and if you take one of them out, the other one runs into a train track and kills himself. And there's so many weird little moments in this game I've never experienced anything like it in a game up until maybe Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. We'll see. I haven't finished it yet, but I think
this whole fucking episode has been like a fucking blue balls for me to play KCD2.
I will say, I think the NPC behavior in Red Dead 2 is better, but I think there are a lot of comparisons with KCD2 in that regard because they also remember you here. In a lot of other games, when you leave town and you come back, they have no idea who you are. Here and in Red Dead 2, they remember you. If you save someone along the way, you can run into them later again.
They do. I love that, man.
It's kind of the same mechanic here. I think Red Dead 2, it's criminal that it hasn't gotten a 60 FPS update on the PS5. If it did, I would be back right now. Well, after KCD2, but I would jump in straight away after KCD2.
Yeah.
That's like, if you have a PS5 Pro, that's like the perfect game to add some stuff to it. And everybody, I would play it again right away. It's like
I started to play it again on PS5 Pro, and then I was like, man, it doesn't look good. You know, the whole reason why I bought an Xbox One X, my first Xbox One in general, was because I started playing on PS4, and I was like, this looks so Vaseline and greasy.
Sure.
And if Xbox One X has a 4K version of Red Dead 2, I need to get that. So I bought an Xbox One X just for Red Dead 2. Yeah. And it was a much better experience. And so I'm trying to play it on PlayStation again because I never played it on PlayStation. And I'm like, I can't do this. And that's why I'm playing it on Steam Deck, because it just looks a lot better and it runs better too. You know?
Well, you know what's really cool on PC? Because I played through it twice on PC, both times on the Rockstar account because it wasn't on Steam back then. Is have you played it in first person yet?
Yeah.
It's such a completely different game, but it's still so cool, right? Because it's what you talked about earlier. If you look down, you can see everything, and it moves a little bit weird. It's so cool that they did that, man. I love it when games do that.
It feels very, very immersive. Yeah. I actually didn't play it in first person before, so I started to do that now, and it just feels it's incredible. It's incredible to be able to access, to feel like playing Red Dead 2 again. I feel like I'm going back to a place that I've been before, which is crazy, you know?
Yeah, that's a perfect.
I feel like I've been there before, and now I'm coming back, and it's like it really does feel like I'm going back to Westworld or some shit right now.
Yeah,
you know?
dude, yeah.
Like my memories are so strong. Like I don't call Red Dead 2 one of my favorite games of all time, and like I guess maybe that's what I'm learning, is that maybe it kind of is actually, you know, like one of my favorite games of all time. It has so many different elements I love about just living in an open world. I do think that it probably is the best open world ever made, you know?
Yeah, it has to be, right?
I think so. In terms of the interactions, in terms of what's there, like you said, all the secrets, the way the land is like so naturally, beautifully built, the way this time in America is preserved in this game, you know, that's the beauty of it, you know. Like that's another thing. Like I'm looking at the Grand Canyon, I'm like, yeah, this is Grand Canyon 2018, but this is America. Virgin America, untouched land in Red Dead 2. It's beautiful, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It also has one of the most special protagonists I've ever encountered in a game.
Yeah.
Because remember when they first showed that first trailer and everyone was like, "Oh, this is stupid. I want to play as John." And then you start the game as Arthur, and you're like, I don't really know. But then gradually over the course of the game, you fall in love with Arthur. Yeah. Such a special character.
He is overall better than John. Yeah. I mean, you know, he comes with the benefit of coming with the second game and better writers this time. But yeah,
of course, yeah. But still my favorite protagonist out of any game I've ever played.
He's so good.
Yeah, you mentioned crying at Red Dead 2. I didn't cry the first time, but when I think about the circumstances of what happened, I do start to tear up. Like it does make me like genuinely sad about what happened in the game. You know, the surprise, the cowboy game, the Western game is a little sad and tragic, whatever, you know. That's not a spoiler either, but yeah, when I do think about what happens in the game and why it happened, like it pisses me off. It makes me sad.
Yeah,
it definitely gets a strong emotional response from me. And that's why I want to replay the game, because like once I actually live through all that, and that's why like I'm actually like role playing as Arthur in like these days right now where everything is fine, like, you know, because I'll play that every once in a while, and then once I'm ready to actually finish that save and finish the rest of the game, I think it'll be a really, really incredible experience to kind of relive the Arthur Morgan experience once again and really just be able to linger and take my time with him this time, and just not rush things and understand that, that I'm having a really special time with this guy right now.
When you reviewed it the first time, I remember Colin and Chris did this too way back at the start of Sacred Symbols. They enjoyed it, but they didn't enjoy it as much because they had to rush through it to get it ready for the episode. Did the same thing happen to you?
I didn't review it. I was not a games journalist at the time, 2018. Okay. But I did rush through it because for that vacation, so I feel like the pressure was similar. So that's why I didn't really enjoy it that much, especially when you get to the fucking the island area in the game, Guarma or whatever.
Guarma, yeah.
That Red Dead Redemption 2 is almost perfect. That is the only part of the game that's just like objectively bad. It's just
you didn't like that?
Didn't need to be there. I don't know. There are some really good scenes on that island for sure.
It was supposed to be way bigger. They cut like 3/4 of it out of it, but that whole segment on that island was supposed to be like another 10 to 12 hours. So.
It should have been either way bigger or just cut out entirely. Because right now in the game it never makes any sense. Weird, and that was like a huge pace killer for me. Otherwise, everything else was perfect. That would not change anything. But yeah, I can understand if you're reviewing it and you're trying to rush through it, it would not be as much of a fun of a game, because this is a game that is begging you to take your time, because you can't rush through sifting through the looting process or going through drawers or even walking. You have to hold X,
Yeah.
This is not a game that wants you to rush through it. So.
Right.
I can't imagine what the embargo time was for a game like this, but I feel like even a month probably wouldn't have been enough time, honestly. Because I feel like this is a game. I envy people who played this game for months. Actually,
Yeah.
What a special experience that might have been to finish this game like 3 months afterwards. And you're like, oh man, the journey I just went through. That's something that I don't really have, actually. Persona 5 is probably the closest thing recently, where I played that game over 8 years, and then once I finished it, I was like, man, what a journey! An 8-year journey. I finally finished it. But like an actually properly paced new game, like Red Dead Redemption 2 or maybe Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 could be it.
Yes,
that could be it. I will take my time with that game because I don't give a shit about what happens in the story. I just want to just kind of live in the world and see what happens there. So, Cyberpunk. We were just talking about Cyberpunk. Rushing through Cyberpunk kind of sucked, actually.
Oh yeah.
Fortunately, the main quest was good enough that I had a good time. But there were like a shit ton of side quests that I missed that probably would have even increased my love for Cyberpunk even more.
Sure.
Like the whole thing about the sins guy or whatever like that. And people who play Cyberpunk knows what I'm talking about. I completely missed that whole fucking side quest. The best side quest in the game.
Did you play the DLC or the expansion, I should say, last year to Phantom Liberty?
Oh, totally. Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
awesome.
It's even better than the base game. And I think it even has a better ending than the base game.
Yeah,
it's excellent.
Yeah,
I think Cyberpunk is excellent. I think it's a better game than Witcher 3, honestly.
Oh,
I think it's better than Witcher 3.
A lot of people. Yeah, I think a lot of people agree with that. Yeah.
I think a lot of people do. I mean, we're not taking Witcher 3's flowers away. Witcher 3 is one of the greatest RPGs ever made. So,
sure, yeah.
I think Cyberpunk is just a little better, but that took some time to get. I didn't even always believe that too. It took some time for me to kind of come around to that.
Yeah.
But that's why I like, and I don't like first-person games, and especially as an RPG. But I love Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is now one of my favorite games, and that's why I like. KCD being first person only kind of turned me off. Sure. And I was like, no, that's not what KCD is actually trying to do. KCD really wants me to put myself in the shoes of this person. So I have to respect that, and I'm so fucking excited to play it.
When do you think you can start it? Is it like a couple of months?
Probably after the once a month ends. Like I think it'll be a good game to play alongside Assassin's Creed Shadows, which like, thankfully, thank you Ubisoft for actually pushing back Assassin's Creed Shadows. Like, I feel like that's a game that will have like a lot of nice breathing room in it. I might even give that game a 10 out of 10 just because because hopefully we'll have a lot of time to review it. I don't know, who knows. So
all right, good stuff. Shout out Red Dead 2. Amazing game. All right.
One of the best games ever. One of the best games to ever do it, and it's crazy that we're still, people still, there's always a viral tweet that says, "Oh my God, can you believe this game came out in 2018?" It's like, it's incredible that this game is so old now at this point, and still looks better than most games. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got some closing questions from the audience. If you want to write into the show, I post a thread every Saturday afternoon calling for your submissions. So keep an eye out there on our Patreon for that thread. This is from Nicholas Brillhart. Greetings, summoners. When did game lengths get out of hand? I thought the original Red Dead Redemption was too long, and it's only gotten worse as the industry since then. But I'm curious what everyone thinks the inflection point was.
Games were always long. On PC, if you
play like long games.
Yeah. If you played like Daggerfall back in the day, that was like 1,000 hours if you wanted to do everything. So
Daggerfall was my shit.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, nice dude. Yeah, it just, I think it depends on what you play. Mainstream games are now like bigger, yeah, of course, but there were always games that were bigger. Like how long was Final Fantasy VI or 5 or 4? Wasn't that long?
Final Fantasy VI, I put that clock all the way up to 99 hours.
Wow.
I played that game for 99 hours back when I was a kid, Super Nintendo.
Damn.
That's to get everything, including the Ultimate Weapon. I think I had 2 Ultimate Weapons, actually. One, so I had Locke, who is my favorite character, and I gave him 2 Ultimate Weapons, one on each hand. So, and then he had like a power where he can strike like twice or whatever, or 4 times. So he was basically swinging the Ultimate Weapon like 8 times, like per round. But like, yeah, I played that game for fucking 99 hours for Final Fantasy 7 too. Same thing.
I do agree. He has a point though that like Ubisoft games, I think are a lot of times too long. Like if you have like an open world, like Assassin's Creed, Valhalla was way too long.
Valhalla was way too long.
Yeah, they could have got 30 hours, and it would have been a way better game.
That's the problem. That's the problem that Valhalla has, and games like Days Gone or Mad Max does not have. Where when I do a fucking bandit camp or whatever, or when I go into an area in Valhalla, I already know exactly what the fuck to expect. It's all exactly. It's the same thing with Starfield, honestly, too, right? Starfield had this exact same problem too, even worse. But Valhalla also, where it's like you just go in there, like, okay, I know that you do this, you rate that, whatever. There might be some like unique permutations or whatever, but like it doesn't really feel that unique. Whereas in Days Gone, it's like, oh, this is a completely different building and with its own story to tell right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. There is a perception of games being too long nowadays, and I think that's totally fine because some games are very long, and I think some games drag on too long from a narrative, from like a main story perspective. But a lot of these games just have a lot of optional content, and some people don't have control, and they have to do everything of these games, and it burns them out. I know several people like this. One of them is our good friend Colin Moriarty, who were with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, is a great example. I'm telling you guys, don't do everything if you don't want to. Just don't. Just move on with the story. So keep that in mind when you're playing an RPG. Like, I don't know if I'm going to do everything in Kingdom Come. I don't know. I'll do as much as I want to do. And if I feel like I need to move on, I'll move on in the story. It's fine. Yeah. But I don't think there's a problem with a game having a lot of content. It's just, if you're doing the main story, I suppose, and it's like Valhalla is a great example because the main story of that game was so long. Even if you just did the main story, it felt so long and just dragged.
Not that great. Yeah.
No, it really wasn't for how long it demanded of you. It wasn't. Yeah. No, it didn't justify the length. But I don't know. There's a lot of short games too. I feel like, especially in the indie space, there's a lot of short stuff. Lots of short stuff, and I think people for some reason kind of just discredit indie and don't even really think about it. And they only think about AAA. It's like, I don't know. I think that's super important. And like Astrobot's not like a super long game. That was an awesome game. It's great. Yeah. There's still a lot of shorter games, but I don't know. I think a lot of it's just people just get burnt out playing these games, and I think you need to just kind of adjust how you play your games. Don't do everything. But what do you think, Locke?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think there are still shorter games, like you just said, Astrobot or the Uncharted games, for instance, or I can't think of any right now. What would you recently play together? Space Marine. That was also like 10
that was
hours.
short.
Space Marine was short. Yeah,
it was short.
So there are still games, but I get what he's saying though, because I mostly have that too. Well, last time I had this was with Outlaws. Mm-hmm. I was really enjoying Outlaws, but near the end, I was like, "Oh, come on, let's wrap it up now. It's been too long." So I get what he's saying, but if you really love a game or games in general, it, like you said, Brad, I think you worded it perfectly. It takes as long as you want to, because you can skip most of the stuff in games these days. Even in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, like you just said, or Red Dead 2, or Days Gone, or the other games or in Drova, all the games we talked about, you can skip basically 3/4 of every single one of those games if you just play the main story. So
yeah, Red Dead 2 can be a 30-hour game, 25-hour game.
Yeah.
And again, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the game that fucking everyone took forever on. I beat that in 39 hours. Had a great time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I probably had the best time of anybody playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth because I rushed it. Like you were asking about rushing games earlier, I rushed the shit out of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but that was the only time where rushing things was actually better and a lot more fun.
Mm-hmm.
So.
How long did it?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
How long did it take you, Brad? To
me?
Yeah, because
I did like everything I could.
You did a good chunk, yeah.
And I think I took me like 70 something, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Maybe less.
You took like a good month to beat it.
Yeah. Right? I took my time with the game. I didn't rush it at all.
You didn't want to rush it at all. Yeah.
No,
because
I was savoring
a special game for you, for sure.
Yeah, I was savoring it. Yeah.
I mean, it was special for me too, but this was not something I wanted to savor. I wanted to like fucking get right to the end.
You wanted to,
end, and then I'll savor the rest of it. Like, because once I realized that the post game was like everything could be done afterwards, I was like, oh, like the FOMO is gone then, this game will let me do everything eventually anyways. Yeah. So let me just do that. But
yeah, I mean, I did some of the optional fights after I beat the
you took a month, I took a week,
Yeah.
But that's how fast I was playing.
I guess it just depends like how you want to play. Yeah, kind of thing like that. So
nice.
I don't know. Just keep that in mind. And like, I'm not saying there's not long games because there are very long games. Like I played through Infinite Wealth pretty recently, and that was a long ass game.
That was a long ass game. Yeah. Because the games are really long. So
yeah, but I don't know. There were definitely long games back in the day as well. Maybe just not talked about as much.
Yeah,
because like you look at most JRPGs or RPGs back in the day, they're all pretty long still. Maybe not as long as today, some of them, but still, like I just beat Dragon Quest 3. That was pretty long, dude.
Yeah, Dragon Quest 3 is long. And that's an NES game, man.
Yeah.
RPGs are long. It's just that RPGs weren't the most popular genre back then,
No. Just didn't hear about it as much.
But we were playing the shit out of them. Baldur's Gate is long,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Those old games,
super long. Baldur's Gate 2 is 300 hours if you do everything.
Wow.
Fallout isn't long, but it's still like a good 20 hours,
Yeah.
Fallout 1, that's a small game.
Yeah. Pretty small. Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's see here. This is from Zugdar. Greetings, Summon Crew. Any thoughts on the new E3 2.0 from the ESA next year called Icon? While E3 was not perfect, I feel gaming is missing traction on a larger base without its E3 focused coverage. A small factor is perhaps slower console growth? ? Gene, what do you think about this? The new event from the ESA coming out called Icon. It's going to be in Vegas next year, and it's not strictly just video games.
Yeah, I reported on this. The ESA actually gave me a heads up that they were going to announce this event. So this is an invite-only event in Vegas, and they are inviting not only game executives, but executives from music, from film, from healthcare, to all these other different industries to basically intersect or interact with the games industry. And it's kind of like a networking and teaching like summit for other industries to learn from games, and I guess games to learn from other industries. Right?
So it's like a GDC kind of thing.
Kind of like a GDC, but like for executives. This is definitely going to be like a a place where only like your Phil Spencers. It's kind of like probably closer to Dice, if anything.
Okay.
Because Dice is like Todd Howard wouldn't go to GDC unless he was like speaking, but Todd Howard would go to Dice, you know.
Yeah.
And Todd Howard would probably go to this thing too, maybe, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, this seems to be more of like a networking event between executives to kind of like learn from each other and like network with each other and make business deals that are cross industry or whatever. My thing is I want to be careful about the games industry just learning too much from music and movies, because look at where music and movies are at. They're into shit right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Artists aren't getting paid. Movies are also getting too expensive. TV shows are getting canceled because they're too expensive. Sounds like games are going through the same fucking bullshit too, you know? So what do we got to learn from those industries besides like not spending as much money, I guess?
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, maybe there's, you know, obviously, you know, Unreal Engine is being used in Hollywood. So, you know, the other industries are learning from games too as well. But there's a quote from a former PlayStation executive. I'm forgetting his name, but he was the guy who did the viral video with Shuhei about, you know, here's how you
Adam Boyes.
Friend game. What's his name again?
Adam Boyes.
Adam Boyes. Yeah, cool guy, right? Seemingly cool guy. And he did a recent interview with somebody, and he said, you know, oh, like Nintendo is like the Disney, and PlayStation is like the HBO, and Microsoft is like the Netflix, right? And that you know, I'm not putting him on blast or anything like that. That's a good framing way of like drawing parallels between things, and I've certainly made that comparison myself, right? My thing is that why do we have to think about it that way though? You know, why can't Nintendo just be Nintendo and PlayStation be PlayStation and Xbox be Xbox, and we do our own things as opposed to biting off these business ideas from other companies that are also fucked up, you know? Like, you know, like Netflix is always canceling shows because their shit is too expensive and they don't know how to market their own shows or whatever, you know. And so what, Game Pass is going to follow that?
Yeah.
To follow that brilliant strategy? I don't know, you know. How about the strategy of making good games and selling them?
Number one. Yeah, that's the most important.
How about the strategy of discovering new game ideas that will excite people and get them to want to play and quote unquote stay engaged, you know?
Yeah.
I know that part. I know that's the hardest part. It really is. But that's why it should have the most work to focus towards it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to, ooh, what's our business strategy, or how are we going to make fucking money or whatever like that. Look at multiverses, you know?
Yeah.
I feel, you know, I want to take a victory lap on multiverses, because like even my friends, people who I love, were like, oh my god, multiverses might be the hot shit or whatever. The Maximilian dude, guy I love, I respect, but he was like, oh my god, multiverses is amazing, and they were hyping it up. And the whole time I was looking at multiverses, I was like, this shit is gonna die real soon. Trust me. And sure enough, it has. You know, it's unsustainable.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Like this whole thing with E3, I just think people need to accept like old E3 is not coming back. It's never going to be like that again. It's over. Those days are over. People do a lot of just stuff on their own state of play directs. Of course, Nintendo started that, but like everyone has their own streams like that. Like Capcom just had one recently. There's still going to be a ton of announcements during that time. Like Jeff Keighley does Summer Game Fest, and it kind of has the spirit of it. Like he has a press conference he tries to get everyone involved, but it's not like
not the same.
It's not at the convention center or anything like that. It was at a very small spot, because I went to it one year and it's very small, but it's cool. I appreciated it. But just like those days of everything being in that week, and like that's about it. It's kind of over now, but I had fun with those times too. It was great. I loved it, but I don't know. There's a lot of good stuff now too. We kind of just get information more spread out nowadays instead of all at like a singular time like we used to.
And when you think about it, what other art form has all these big event press conferences for the new product, right?
Right, just
movies,
yeah, like Disney does it.
With San Diego Comic-Con, right? But only a select few movies, Marvel movies, DC movies,
right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's not like there's going to be a whole press conference for the new Adam Driver movie. You know, Martin Scorsese isn't going to come out and on stage and announce like, oh, Killers of the Flower Moon, or like, this is my next project or whatever like that. That doesn't happen.
True.
When Kendrick announces his next album, there's no huge press conferences with fireworks and like, here's Kendrick Lamar announcing GNX, and here to announce the album is Keanu Reeves for some reason. That doesn't happen in other art forms. Min Jin Lee doesn't go up and say, oh, here's my next book, fucking look out for it or whatever like that. It's just been games. And maybe it's good that we stop doing that now, and it's just fine that the companies are just doing this on their own.
Sure.
It was kind of goofy to have those E3 conferences and just having a bunch of soy boys from IGN going, like maybe we don't, or easy allies, present company included. Present company included. Brad was a soy boy, a soy face for.
Soy face for fucking Final Fantasy 7 all day, baby.
Of course, yeah. And that had his time and place, and I wish I was there too, and I was there for Metal Gear Solid 3 at E3, But yeah, when I do think about it, it's like what other type of art does this? Well, kind of not really, sports. Sports is not really art though, but it's competitive. But yeah, a new team member, obviously there's a whole roll off for that. But yeah, it's different now.
When are we going to get riots in the streets like sports games,
right?
Or sports like for video games? When are we going to get that?
When GTA 6 is woke, that's when.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like what if it's like Mass Effect 4, there's riots in the streets or something?
There was that riot in the street that Kai Cenat started because he went to New York and promised a whole bunch of PS5s.
Oh yeah.
So if you can start a riot if you promise like if a store says, hey, we got GTA 6 early, we're the only store that will have it. If the Nintendo store for some reason in New York City was like, hey, we got GTA 6 on Switch too, and this is the only place where you can buy it, then yeah, people are probably be throwing trash cans into the window.
Like I want to see riots when like Elden Ring 2 wins GOTY and everyone's just celebrating in the streets,
fucking nuts,
burning shit. That's what I want to see.
If there was any time to riot, it was like it was the E3 of Dreams, which Final Fantasy 7 Remake was announced, and Shenmue 3 was announced, and what else was announced?
Last Guardian,
right?
Showed again. Yeah,
God of War, maybe, I don't know. God of War 2018 was another pop-off moment.
Right in the streets for games, dude. Let's get there.
Yeah. What game would get me rioting in the streets for an announcement? I don't know. Fucking God Hand 2.
God Hand 2, yeah. Call Me Back. Yeah, he's on it.
Bring Mikami back. Yeah. Like Okami and Hideki Kamiya is huge, except I don't really like Okami all that much. So Okami's okay, but
Yeah, I got you.
You want to talk about 2 long games? Okami is another fucking old ass game that's way too long. Over 100 hours.
All right, Meatball wrote in, "Sup gamers? Hope everyone is enjoying Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I spent a surprising amount of time playing the dice minigame. It's definitely much simpler than something like Gwent or Queen's Blood, but I still find it plenty addicting. What are some of your favorite games within games?"
Yakuza Hostess Club.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, really good.
I actually booted up Yakuza 0 just to go into the Hostess Club and just play that only. I don't know. It's a familiar environment to me. But yeah, all the Yakuza mini games for sure. Fucking the Dodongo Island on Yakuza Infinite Wealth, the Animal Crossing mini game. Like I played that shit for 50 hours. It was a whole game in of itself. So
yeah, I couldn't even dive into that. I was like, no way am I getting into this right now. No way. Locke, what about you? Any mini games or games you could think about that?
It's a cop out, but I spent maybe a dozen hours or more playing poker in Red Dead 2.
Oh,
I love the AI in that game, and I love how you have like a table full of people. You can just play them out and just play for hours until they're all gone, and then actually feel like the winner there. But of course, also Gwent. I love Gwent. Pazak in KOTOR 1 and 2, also really fun. But other than that, it depends. It depends if it fits in a world or not. If it fits in a world, I really enjoy it. But I don't know if I've never played a Yakuza game, of course, but sometimes the stuff I see from those games, I'm like, why? What are you doing? Why? But I get that it's fun.
You'll find out why.
Yeah, you'll find out
and what we're doing. I have a question for you, Locke, regarding Red Dead 2 and poker. Why do you like Red Dead 2 and poker and Red Dead 2 so much?
But because of the immersion.
Because you can play digital poker or video poker anytime you want, and that could be way faster, right? And possibly like actually immediately rewarding. But I'm interested to it kind of goes back to the immersion factor of Red Dead 2, right? And how slow it is. So it's like, was that like what you really enjoyed? Just the vibes of it, right?
And if you lose, you can stand up and shoot everybody in the face. So you can't do that.
No, I've never done that.
Can you
really? Can you just kill them?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, of course. Yeah. You can just stand up and just shoot them. Yeah,
I should do that. Yeah, just dead-eye them. You know.
I have two playthroughs. One, of course, high honor, and one low honor. And on low honor, I would just go into poker moves playing, and if the second I lost, they're all gone. But yeah, no, I love the immersion factor there in Red Dead 2, or in Red Dead 1 even. It's also in Red Dead 1. I think that's great.
It was in Red Dead 1. Yeah, it was real slow there too.
Yeah.
I feel like whoever designed the slow ass poker game in Red Dead 1 made all of Red Dead 2. Like, no, now you're director of the whole game now. You know?
It's probably true. It's probably true.
Yeah. And hey, good job. You know, the fucking shit sold 7 million copies. What, the sixth best selling game of all time?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Nice.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well deserved. I'm glad that they spent so much money on the game, but they actually earned the money back, and they didn't, and they killed Red Dead Online for it.
It's crazy.
That was disappointing. I was actually really super hyped for it. I played the shit out of Red Dead 1 online so much. I was hooked on that, and then I was really excited for part 2, and I just never got into it.
It's because GTA was too big. Like they couldn't lure players away from that.
Taking away too many resources, and it was just more fun. GTA Online was more fun.
Yeah.
You can't get penthouses in Red Dead 2. So the amount of cars stuff that you can put. Yeah, gold bar. Yeah, you're just getting gold bars all day, and it's like, ugh, you know, and you get fucking clown outfits later, you
know. For mini games, for me, it's definitely like the old Final Fantasy ones. Well, of course, Queen's Blood. I loved Queen's Blood. Triple Triad from Final Fantasy 8. I spent a lot of time doing stuff like that. The Chocobo racing and breeding in 7. I did a lot, of course. Those are probably some of my favorites off the top of my head. Love that shit.
Yeah, I like the tower game in Rebirth and Remake too.
Oh yeah.
I'm ready for the name, but yeah, Phoenix Tower or whatever.
Fort Condor.
God damn, I can't.
Fort Condor is awesome.
Yeah, Fort Condor. I actually just love playing that game too.
Yeah, it's great. All right, this is from Jared, Brad, and Gene. I guess Locke, of course. I'm not sure what your history of this is, Locke, but I've never played any Resident Evil game as a kid since it was too scary. With the release of the remakes, I've gotten hooked, and I've been playing all of them. Just finished 5, and I'm about to start the last game I haven't played, which is 6. I recall both of you have said that you are not anti-RE6 like most people. Curious about your opinions for the best play order for RE6. Thanks again, Jared. Jared, you're mistaken. I am anti-RE6.
Oh, I'm pro RE6 all the way, baby.
Yeah, Gene's into it. I hate it.
Okay, so the confusing question. He's asking for the order of how to play RE6.
Hey,
right?
You just go kind of in the order that it is. Like, isn't it start with Leon?
No,
or did they add that later? Like, I remember Ada unlocked. They might have changed that, but you had to unlock Ada.
You had to unlock Ada. I think they did change it so Ada is unlocked right away. Most people don't like the story of RE6, and to be fair, the story of RE6 is terrible. I'm not saying this is a hidden gem of writing or whatever like that. It's a bad story, but it can be enjoyable and it can make sense if you play it in an order that they never fucking tell you. And so this is not anyone else's fault but Capcom's. But if you play it in the order that they present you with, which is, you know, Leon and then Chris and then Jake and then Ada, that's an awful way for the story to reveal itself, because the information that you have, most of the information about the story is coming from Leon's campaign. So if you finish Leon's campaign first, you already know all the plot twists that happen in Jake's story and Chris's story, you know? So it makes everything in Jake and Chris's story feel super fucking redundant and stupid, you know? gets worse, especially because all 3 sections repeat certain boss fights and certain gameplay segments, which are really, really annoying, and those are objectively bad. I defend RE6 in terms of like a good action game, pretty much. Like, it's an awesome action game. It's the best mercenaries. It's the best mercenary mode out of all.
Yeah, it has good mercenaries.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll give it that. It has fun action mechanics, but all the scenarios suck dick. All the fighting
not all the scenarios, but like I would say 70% of them suck dick. I would say a good number of the scenarios do suck dick. Like the game did not do good scenario pacing and good scenario setting very well. Some of the boss fights are awful. Some of the boss fights are sick though too. But if you're like me and you're gonna power through it because you enjoy the gameplay mechanics of it, this is the order you play. Play the first mission of Leon, the tutorial mission of Leon. Go to Jake right away, and then finish Jake. And then go to Chris, and then finish Chris, and then finish the rest of Leon's story, chapters 2, 3, and 4. And that way, the story will reveal itself much more naturally. Jake is the one that is the newest character, so he is a character that has the most to learn. Jake, and like the most bullshit going on that doesn't really have much to do with anything. So he's kind of like a side story. So finish Jake first, get him out of the way. He has cool kung fu action. Then do Chris, and then Chris has his own like little contained story. But then there's like a plot twist that will make sense. Will be cooler and more revealing if you finish Leon's last, basically. So Jake, Leon's first chapter, then Jake, then Chris, then finish Leon, and then Ada. That's the best order for playing RE6 if you want to make the story not seem as completely stupid as it is already.
Lockmore, any RE6 thoughts or recommendations?
I played the whole game through co-op with a friend of mine, and we had a lot of fun. But I think if I played it single player, I would have fucking hated it. But because there were 2 of us, it was really fun. I love Resident Evil. I love all of them, except maybe... I'm not sure about 5 if I really enjoyed that one in hindsight, but I love all of them, and I think 6 was such a fun experience, but because it was bad. So I don't know if that's the answer you want, but I really enjoyed my time with it, but not because I thought it was a monumentally good game. It's just because I was playing with my friends.
It is one of the most fun co-op experiences you can have, and all the bad scenarios are much more tolerable when you're actually trying to work them out with a friend.
Yeah.
And it's fun to like save each other, you know, with melee attacks and everything like that. Like, all of that stuff is always fun. So, and yeah, like I first played RE6 with a friend, with my best friend, and we were sitting on the couch together. So yeah, I had a blast playing RE6. So if you have a friend to play with and you play in the right order, that is your best chance of enjoying RE6.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd recommend RE2 remake.
Yeah.
Or RE4 instead.
Any other Resident Evil, pretty much.
Any other Resident Evil, for sure. Yeah, I still acknowledge that even though I like Resident Evil 6 a lot, it is the worst Resident Evil game. Yeah. It's the worst one.
Yeah, by far. Yeah, I played with Mike Huber, of course, is a huge Resident Evil fan. Our first time playing through.
I forgot. How does he feel about it?
Oh, he doesn't like it.
Oh.
He might not be as sour on it as I am, but yeah. I mean, we laughed a lot in that game, but we were talking shit on it like the entire time.
It is a funny fucking... It's kind of fucked up too. Like, it's weirdly sexual. Like you know, it gets like uncomfortably sexual during Leon's campaign. But the last boss is incredible, though, of Leon's campaign. I loved it. It's so fun.
It's such a shitty game, dude. But you should, if you're a Resident Evil fan and you've never played it, you should play it just to see it.
Here's another reason why I like the action combat. It's the only game that you can actually reasonably recreate the fucking crazy 3D movies on Netflix.
Oh yeah, yeah. The gun fu shit.
The gun cops, like gun fu, crazy ass theatrics that you see in the Resident Evil animated movies. Mm-hmm. That is the vibe that Resident Evil 6 was trying to recreate. So if you appreciate those movies and how bad and fun they are, then Resident Evil 6 is the only game for you, honestly. You know?
Yeah.
I kind of wish they would go back to it.
No,
I want Gunfu Leon. Hell yeah.
No.
What do you think they'll do? Because they'll remake it at some point, I guess. How do you think they'll do that? Or what would you do?
I don't know if they'll remake it.
Just make better stories, basically.
Just decanonize it and start fresh. That's what
decanonize all of it, make the story like better,
different.
As Brad accurately said, I think the biggest problem with the game is the scenarios, the action scenarios that they put you in. A lot of it is just complete horseshit. You know,
it's so bad.
Like you have to remember the helicopter fights, Locke, at least.
Yeah, of course, and that's also the boulder. The boulder is also in
no,
6,
that's
right?
5.
Oh, that's
the
5.
boulder punch.
Oh, but
the boulder punch. No, this is the one where you're fighting a helicopter in an alleyway, so it's not even a cool like area. So this is what Brad's talking about, scenario writing. Like it's not even a cool stage. You're in a fucking alleyway in Hong Kong, and it looks ugly, and then the helicopter is just hovering above you, and your choice is either to like look up and shoot it, or climb a bunch of fucking shitty ladders with a bunch of zombies like clawing at you and shooting at you also with their own guns and rocket launchers. Climb up scaffolding so you can shoot the fucking helicopter too. All that shit is not fun at all.
Yeah. So
just be warned that the game is full of scenarios like that, and it will repeat them.
Yes. Just boring
the exact
combat.
same scenario with different characters.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just watch out for that. Just be warned.
And I know everyone starts off with Leon. They're like, it's okay. It's not so bad. Just keep playing. RE6 is a long ass game. Keep playing.
It's a very long game too. Yeah, they could have made like each chapter shorter, like 2 chapters shorter.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of bullshit that happens in each of them that doesn't need to be repeated or even done at all.
Oh man. The snow speeder part and just like
it would need to be like Code Veronica basically. Like it would need to be like redone almost completely because Code Veronica itself is like problematic and like has a terrible story too. And 6 is also that.
Yeah, 6
is fun.
But you should check it out.
It's fun to kung fu kick zombies in the head. So
yeah. All right, guys, that's it. We're done. Another episode in the books. Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching, whatever you're doing. We appreciate you being here with us, so thank you. Before we go, boys, any final thoughts or anything else you want to say, or should we just get out of here?
I'm going to go log off and jerk off over KCD2.
Nice.
That's the closest thing I'll get to. That's the closest thing I'll get to actually enjoying it for now, you know?
Yeah.
Before I actually get to play it. But yeah, this is a fun episode, guys.
Mm-hmm.
And,
good.
Yeah, really and the games we talked about this time like really like oddly like fit together thematically, you know.
Yeah. Pretty much all big open world games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really fun.
Lockmart, what about you? Anything you want to plug? Maybe a YouTube channel, perhaps?
Again, okay. Well, yes, very much so. Every week. Well, maybe not every. I just realized when I said that an hour ago, I already missed a week. But as much as I can, I'll upload videos there. As much as I can, I really enjoy doing
pretty frequently.
Pretty frequently. I really enjoy doing them. They're not typical reviews. I delve like into the history of games and developers and how games came to be. That's really the thing of the channel. So I really enjoy making them. So if you want to see those, there's a Kingdom Come Deliverance video tomorrow, maybe the day after. And yeah, we'll do Pillars of Eternity before Avowed releases and Avowed, of course. So if you want to check that out, gladly. But other than that, thank you for having me, Brett. I've told you this before many times, but I love this show. It's so much fun to be able to talk about games and just gush about games. Yeah. I love it. You're doing amazing.
Thank you, dude. Appreciate that. Yeah, Glock has a Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 recap video, which is what I watched before I played 2, so it was very effective. So if you're hopping into 2 like I did, maybe check that out. All right, guys, let's get out of here. Thank you for joining me, and everybody for listening and watching. We'll see you next time. Take care, and goodbye. Summon Sign is a product of Last Stand Media and Colin's Last Stand LLC and is proudly recorded in the USA. The show is written and hosted by me, Brad Ellis. The show is produced by Dustin Furman. All of Last Stand's theme music is by Ramon Narvaez. Summon Sign, along with the rest of Last Stand's media shows, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer level on Patreon, our highest tier, and we are grateful for your kind contribution and generosity to our independent endeavor. Thank you.